You always just don't act with them like defenders.
I think it's like
People, Deluded, I'm back again. First things first, people, it's February the 1st. It's the second month of the new year. I hope January was blessed. I hope February is even better and bigger for you and your loved ones. And appreciative to have you lot tuned in as usual. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and in some cases, good night. Smash the like button. As you can see with the title of the video, tomorrow we go to war. If you didn't know, one of the biggest games in our Premier League calendar. You can say what you want about Manchester City, but, you know, you've seen what they've done in the Prem. We go to war tomorrow. And again, I say, and it's probably the last I'm going to say on this, nothing but respect for Manchester City as a club, their fans, their coaching staff, their owners, all of that jazz. But you see the players in particular, and those that were doing nonsense when we played them at the Etihad, and those that went and started talking in the media and being, quite frankly, sassy, you know, getting their knickers in a twist. You know, maybe, I don't know, Phil Foden, Haaland, Stones, you know how it is when there's bare women in the room, the periods gets what do they call it, man? Synchronized. Maybe that happened with them. Pick up the galley. But yeah, we're on stuff tomorrow, man. We have to win. We've been linked with Boniface. We're still linked with Boniface, Sesko, Watkins, Vlahovic, etc. We have 48 hours now, people, give or take, of the transfer window being left open. Are we still hopeful for new signings? Where are the new signings? So yeah, smash the like button. Big up you lot on Twitch. Any questions, talking points, get them in. We'll go over everything in a minute, people. But the whole reason I like being here is to see what you lot are saying, man. Hey, boy, you're part of the furniture, and you was in trench talks yesterday. You don't sleep, you know. You don't sleep. Maybe it's the time zone in South Africa. In fact, I know this is complete irrelevance, but I just want to know what the time zone is. I've got a bunch of random world clocks on my iPhone. I've got the London time, obviously. I've got New York. I've got Adelaide. I've got Sydney. I'm going to now type in Cape Town. I just want to know, man. Big up you lot abroad, man. Well, to be fair, it's only 2 hours in front. Fair enough. I still rate you, but yeah, even now, I rate you even more, you know, because you was at Trench, make sure you're following Fams on TV and that, but you was there yesterday, and we're streaming until well into the morning, but we're at stupid o'clock, and you're up even more. But yeah, big up yourself. What have you said here? Jonathan David is a litmus test, just like Karaskila earlier in the window. We are not serious if we aren't getting Jonathan David in this window. You're a bad guy because you're gaslighting everyone to rate Jonathan David. You're definitely one of his agents. And, bro, bring Jonathan David. I mean, I don't know if they rate him or whatever, but if you're going through the short list of strikers, in my opinion, they've tried for Sesko. It hasn't happened. They've tried. And again, you don't know my thoughts on this whole we tried business. I'm not going to keep repeating myself. But I think with where we're at, I think they've tried to see if a Sesko deal could happen. I don't know if Leipzig are up for it. Sesko don't want to move now. Sesko wants to move now. Leipzig don't want to sell him, or a bit of the both. But I think they've tried. We've bidded for Watkins, so we can document that with we're trying. I think they flirted with even contemplating going for Isak, but we all know why that's not happening and why that's not even happening more in January, right? Gyökeres, I don't think the club rate Gyökeres to that extent. I think it's more tabloid stuff. The other names, we're seeing kind of documented proof that we're interested in them. But for argument's sake, maybe we've shown a willingness to activate his release clause, and Gyökeres is saying, yeah, I hear it, Arsenal, but I want to finish my season at Sporting. I want to see all of my options in the summer. So then you've got that. Jonathan David, whether we rate him or not, he has to have flagged up on some radar. He's a decent striker. Obviously, we need reinforcements. His contract is running out. Again, you could pivot that, and kind of the same logic I said with Gyökeres could apply to Jonathan David. He's going to be a free agent, but boy, it's looking dark. And the one thing I'll give the club, and I still will give the club in their defense, I'm not a fly on the wall. I'm not Jason Ato. I'm not Edu. Well, Edu's gone, but you get the point. All the Kroenkes. I'm sure they're trying things, but when the window shuts, boy. And for me, as an ignorant Arsenal fan, one, I feel we should have been doing all of this in the summer. Two, again, I don't know all the context is behind when bids are specifically placed. But again, to me, as an ignorant fan, you're bidding for Watkins. Mate, on a Monday, you probably got wind that, Watkins would want to sign for Arsenal. Maybe Aston Villa need to sell a player, whether it's one of the two strikers or the whole PSR. You tried to beat Aston Villa to the punch in terms of maybe we get Watkins, they keep Giroud. That hasn't worked. I don't know, man, but at what point, do we keep trying for a striker? Because I thought we're quite receptive to a winger or a striker. It seems the language went towards a striker. At what point do you pivot and say the striker thing is dead is it still difficult getting an inside forward or a versatile kind of guy that can play across the front three? At what point do we as a football club kind of pivot towards that? I don't know, people, but I'd love to know your thoughts. P, appreciate you. All we can do is hope this club signs someone. All we can do is live in hope. You know, I'm always hopeful about life, man. You know, it might not get better today, tomorrow, the next day, or the next day, but one day, you know, if it was raining, one day the sun's gonna shine again. But at the same time, we have to live in reality, my boy. Like, we hope, but we have to live in reality, and that's the we tried thing is not bringing in signings. We're racing against the clock. And let's be honest, as a fan, you know, someone mentioned Karaskila. We're seeing all the moves that other people are doing, and you shouldn't watch what other people are doing in life here, but you can't help but not be jealous of just the fact that other clubs are proactively going about stuff. You know, I saw Chris would get a hat trick. Well, to be fair, I didn't have on my bet slip, not that I have one. You know, Brighton would lose 7-0 today. The Premier League's mad. Like, Nottingham Forest got smoked 5-0, then they just smoked someone 7-0. It's been a great season for Forest, man, regardless of how it ends, man. Looks like other Gooners, I think you mean, are angry with the window. I saw this coming, we ain't serious. It's too receptive. And on top of that, I think many balanced fans, we know the January market's difficult, all of that kind of stuff, but we've made our bed. We've got to lie in it. You know, you either make things happen and produce results, or you make excuses, and that ties into contexts and all of that. And let's be honest, you know, we're at that stage as Arsenal fans. Even though the Premier League is still going, we're still trying to fight for what we can fight for. I do think there's many reasons to be negative, and it is kind of all doom and gloom, but it's not all doom and gloom. We're at that stage now, probably Arsenal fans, where now it's a case of everything is summer now. Next season, like we're going to that, and it just feels like we're on a wheel like that, where we just yeah, that's what I feel it is. If Arsenal does get Watkins, does that mean no summer striker? You can't rule. You never know, because the club could say what a lot of fans want is that you got Ollie Watkins and another guy. You know, you've got two strikers there fighting for it. You've got the other boys in and around. I think it's, again, what is realistic. And again, I don't work for Arsenal, but I think if they got Ollie Watkins, I think that's your next striker for the next anything from 1 to 3 years. And that kind of surely rules out Isak and all these guys, because I don't think the club are going to, let's just assume the first bid got accepted, yeah, that 40-odd million bid. I don't think we're going to do that. Then find the 70-odd million quid for Sesko. So that's like around 100-odd million. You still got to, you know, probably buying the inside forward. You still got to find about 50-odd million, assuming the Zubamendi thing happens. We don't know if, well, we're going to have to sign a couple of goalies. We don't know what other positions Mikel Arteta is eyeing up. And there's just too much to do. And even with the age thing with Watkins, I don't think Ollie Watkins is my first choice, nor do I think he's the best thing since sliced bread, yeah. But I am a bit shocked with how Arsenal fans are moving. Naturally, there are going to be some fans that weren't saying sign Ollie Watkins. Not that we're signing him, but they weren't saying sign him and all of these things. Now they talk like he's the best thing since sliced bread. For me, of course, Isak, this one, that one, the others, they're more first choice. But yeah, he's 29 and he's not going to be here forever. But who said, like, where is that the thing? When we sign Trossard, we know Trossard is not going to be that kind of, and I know the context is different, but when we sign Trossard, we know he's not going to be here for 6-7 years or whatever. You know, when Van Persie signed for Man United, how old was he? I don't think United, or specifically Sir Alex Ferguson, cared that I'm going to have you for 2-3 years if we win a league. And obviously that allows you to future plan for another forward, you know, for the next cycle of, I don't know, the Jokereses, the Vlahovic's, the Seskos, etc. And of course, Watkins can play in a bunch of roles, but I would say that rules out a striker and they just focus on a winger. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. You know, you've ticked off something you need to do. And obviously Watkins is Prem proven and all that. I'm going to beef with YouTube not sending me this notification. I always tell you lot, man, turn on your new notifications on YouTube, but don't trust them. Follow on Twitter, check out the YouTube community tab, follow on Instagram, Deluded, Gooner, and all this, because you'll see that's where I'll post either content that's been done or telling you where the lives can be, people. So yeah, Richie, appreciate you, man. You're becoming fast part of the furniture here, man. DG, afternoon, bro. What did I say about Boniface on Thursday? I just know how our club worked from supporting them for 33 years. City will own us tomorrow, I have to say. I don't know about the last sentence, man. I am scared of City. It's City, innit? I know it sounds cliche, but form goes out the window. All of that kind of stuff applies. But nah, man, I want blood, man. They violated us. I believe in sport, and this is someone that is a dark art specialist. Anyone that see me play Sunday League, I'll say some stuff that I can't repeat on here. I'll say the most. I'll do anything to win. But I believe in sport. You do that when the final whistle's gone. There's a code of honor and conduct. Like, you shake hands, go pub. That's it. City players weren't doing that. I just feel the City players we're just moving like some pussy holes, pardon my language, if I'm completely honest. In relation to Boniface, you did say that. But then how legit is the Boniface thing? Is it are Arsenal genuinely looking at what they can do? Or is it a thing where we need a striker? Seems like there's a lot of people on the market. His thing to Saudi didn't work. If I'm a journalist, I can just fabricate this all, tweet it out, make an article. It is what it is. As we know, the summer and January, it's just transfer rumors galore. It's nonsense. As I always say, I'm more than happy to sit here and speak hypotheticals with you, look, but we know there's very little fact checking, even in a day and age, yeah, where David Ornstein and Fabrizio Romano, they're like the Champions League of these ITKs and dropping knowledge. But even when you deep it, yeah, even them, they're getting kind of corrupted by this new age stuff. Like Romano, big him up, but he tweets the same thing again and again and again and again. David Ornstein used to just keep quiet, post stuff and keep it moving. He still kind of does that, and nothing but respect for him. But he kind of tweets things that when you look at it, it's not really anything. It's not really any major development. It's just frustrating because it's reactive at the moment, man. Whoever we sign this window, even if we sign no one, we'll still need 2 strikers to come in when all said and done. In an ideal world, bro, I would love to have, I said ideal world. So, assuming any of these transfers happens, in an ideal world, I'd love to have Isak. First choice, Isak's my guy. Isak and Saka, 2 of the first names on the team sheet. It would be amazing, right? I would love that. I'd love a striker like, a Watkins who can play with, obviously, Isak, or if form's looking brazy. You get where I'm going. You've got 2 forwards there. Need another inside forward that could play off the left. You've got Saka. You've got a couple of other squad players. Ethan's coming up to the fore in those positions. But I don't think it's feasible to have 2 forwards, to have potentially Kai Havertz, who's... I don't really care about people's game time like that. If you want it, you earn it. But if you sign 2 strikers, that's less minutes for Kai. If you sign Zubimendi to go with Declan Rice and Moreno, he's there. And you know what? We've spoken about long-term Kai Havertz a while. So, yeah, I would like 2 strikers. Even that, if you sign Ollie Watkins, you're going to still need to be assessing the striker market. And I would say it is panicking. Maybe it is. They saw it as a market opportunity, which I hate falling for that, but you get the point. DGR links, Rashford, Duran, Tell, Watkins, all fading out. I must admit, even the 11th hour, I know it's not the 11th hour, but and please make sure we're subscribing and smashing the like button. But like the 11th hour links, they're looking a bit dry, or even tentatively, like you say, you're bang on the money, being linked with pardon me, what's his face again? Brighton lad, man. It's escaped me for the life of me. The young Irish lad, I forgot his name, but you know who I'm talking about. Oh, Ferguson. We're even being linked with him. That's gonna have to be a permanent thing now. If it was the same context and like Ferguson was doing what he was doing when he started, then we might look at it differently. But that looks like a panic at the moment. I'm having Watkins. Feel like DG Arteta is waiting for Vlahovic. I hear it, and even that you could kind of pivot him back to what I said earlier. Yeah, you could say maybe they try for Vlahovic. Vlahovic's priority could be, I want to stay at Juventus for this season. I want to sign a new contract, or I want to assess my options. But if you got 40 odd million or whatever we bidded, yeah, whatever they bidded for Watkins, yeah, Watkins is under contract for 3 years. Surely you do that for Vlahovic. Now, Juventus could turn around and say to Arsenal, we'll do it in the summer. We ain't got a striker. But at the same time, as we all know, his contract is running out. He's one of the highest earners. I'm sure he's the highest earner at Juventus, and I'm sure he's the highest earner in Serie A. So they might just say, you know what, we might not have an opportunity to flog him. So surely if you wanted Vlahovic like that, you could have lodged a bid for him now. I don't mind. We don't buy anyone now. Just when it comes to summer, we spend like 250 mil. I can't lie, I disagree, man. I hear it, but I disagree, my guy, man. We need players, bro. It's not making sense. The amount of we are out of the FA Cup. We're probably going out of the League Cup. We've got small hope that we can come from behind naturally. We still got, whether we win the league, which I hope, or finish second or whatever, we still got to play the Premier League. And I don't think we're winning the champs, but if you're in it, you might as well go for it, innit? And you can't, to have no Bukayo Saka for these things I'm talking about is one thing. It's not sustainable. Like, Ethan's quality, and we could be here all day. Like, his goal was one thing. It's the swagger, the dropping of the shoulder, the playing in the pockets, just the freedom and the confidence the man played with. But he's a young player. And we saw from a fitness point of view, the games are coming thick and fast. Ethan got hurt a few weeks ago. And it's unfair to place that on his shoulders. And then you throw in, unfortunately, Kai Havertz is a lot more consistent than some more of his teammates, which probably tells you everything. But you're not believing in, and Kai Havertz looks tired, which is why we need more bodies. But you're not really believing Kai's going to do the business. Trossard's finding his feet, but you're not believing he's going to do it. God forbid, unfortunately, Gabriel Jesus has bust his ACL just when he was kind of turning his form around. You're not even going to believe when he's fit, he's going to do the business. You don't know I love Martinelli, man. We'll cut every excuse under the sun, but from like, boy, you don't know scoring goals, innit? You're just not being good enough. So we need someone. And even that, like, I don't want to be pessimistic because I hear your logic and I don't think your reasoning is the worst. But do we have any real confidence that we're going to do everything we need to do? Because we're the sort of club, we'll buy a centre mid and a striker and we'll forget the winger thing. Or we'll sign a winger and a striker, we'll forget the centre mid. We never do everything that is required. Happy affiliate anniversary. The ginger bearded one, big up yourself, my guy, man. Appreciative to have you in the cut. Please make sure we're smashing like buttons. Even though you're on Twitch, it's Suarez all over again. At least you saw Suarez in the newspaper saying, I want to join Arsenal. I ain't seen Watkins say that, apart from the resurfaced videos. Now I had to sleep hard, stayed up watching the Trent, and then had to go to an early funeral, crashed out when the formalities were done. First and foremost, yeah, apologies to hear about your loss, man. Apologies to hear about that. And yeah, man, big up yourself. Tomorrow has to be war, man. You can think Arsenal's a joke club. I don't. I love the football club. You know, it's one of the happiest, it's one of the best things about life is watching my football club. I'm not going to kill you for having that thought, but you do you, innit? You do you, my guy. You do you. Big up yourself, Hyper. Another one that don't sleep. Fulham beat Newcastle 2-1. Dang. Arsenal is what if FC. It is, man. It's just, this is a season, I would say it's fine. It's one of fine margins, and it is of what if. A lot of it has been, we have had, you know, the referee nonsense. We have had injuries. We have all of that stuff. There's been things that have gone against us, but also, and we have, you know, had a very bad luck with injuries. But at the same time, I don't want to say it's self-inflicted, but it feels a bit self-inflicted, if I'm completely honest with you, because we've been talking about the size of the squad. The manager's spoken about it. So when it's really being tested and, you know, it's really looking muddied and we're really struggling, can we really say we're surprised? Is that negligence on our part in terms of relying on certain players to do it for the majority of the season and they're not caught up to task? Is that on us? A lot of the controllables we haven't controlled, bro. We haven't done everything we need to do. So it is another one of what ifs. Like last year, Brighton were robbed in 2 goals. The penalty was one. There was a handball on the other. Gerald, big up yourself, man. Gerard, apologies. In the summer, people said we don't need a striker. We'll spread the goals. Now Arteta's hopping from profile to profile striker. He's confused. And I'm not going to lie, people were dishonest. And in fact, they're not, because I don't think that's wrong. We need to spread out the goals. Like, obviously, like Isak at Newcastle, if they ever stop scoring goals, obviously people are going to look at you because you're the goal scorer and you're bloody good at it. But Gordon's doing what he needs to do. I'm sure, I don't know for his statistics, but it feels like Murphy every now and again is popping up. We need that. But I do think people lie to themselves. Like for me, I looked at it. I saw 1 year we got 80-odd goals. Last year, I think we got 90-odd. We're scoring from set pieces. You know, couple man are chipping in. We know Saka is the bread and butter. But I looked at it and said, we got something good. If we rely on this and we think this is going to get us over the line, we're in trouble. But this shows me that if we just build on this, yeah, spread the goals out. But we need a proven killer. We need to keep scoring from set pieces, but also we need to do more from open play. So it kind of goes back to what I'm saying. And fans, I'm not going to lie, you know, you are allowed to be wrong. I think football discourse on YouTube, yeah, is annoying because sometimes you can just say, I got things wrong or I changed my mind. But a lot of fans, a lot of them, we're saying we don't need a striker. We got Kai Havertz. If he did it for, I don't know how many games, but it felt like since we got to the halfway point of last season, whether you like Kai or not, he went on a run. He did a thing. I can forgive people for having that naivety, but then I think I can't because it's too. If we want to be a team that gets Champions League football, like qualifies for it, that's enough. You see, if you want to capitalize on these small margins, the manager and everyone talks about, the questions we have to become answers. Because even if, you know, I want someone that can match Saka's output on the left and right. But even if you had someone that does literally 50%, how many defeats are turned into draws? How many draws are turned into victories? Ultimately, more points on the board. I don't want to remind Arsenal fans, but how many, you know, remember how the last season ended? We finished 2 points off City. And even that, I think I wouldn't say it makes it look closer than it is, because there's no guarantee if we had a striker that we would have won these games, or we won here, we wouldn't have lost there. But at the same time, I can't not think about the first half against Aston Villa at the Emirates. I can't not even think about the first game, you know, the game at their place last season, Chelsea away, Spurs at home. For me, I think one game, when we think of why we didn't win the league last year, and actually on brand as to why we need a forward, right, is West Ham at home. I'm exaggerating, but we had a million shots. And again, we saw it last season in that, you know, at some point this season, these guys are going to get, like, Trossard's going to get a decent return. These guys, like, the same guys that struggled towards the end of last year, or whenever, up until we went to Dubai, we were struggling. They went to Dubai, they came back, and apparently we're going away, so they need to do the same thing now. These same man were scoring, but for me, that's temperamental. We need a couple man that are on what Saka's on, which the vast majority of this season, you're scoring, you're assisting, you're making the difference. And right now, we've got a young player in Ethan who's doing great, but we can't place too much on his shoulders because the first thing he needs to do is add consistency. It's all fun and games doing it against Girona. If you don't do it against City or beyond that, you get it. Like, that's the thing about Saka. He's doing it again and again and again. So we've got him and probably a lot more faith in him. As I said earlier, the other attackers, I'm not even trying to be disrespectful. You don't know what you're getting. I love Martinelli, and I think he's almost, I think he's a goal short from equaling his Premier League goal tally from last year. But the Martinelli of 2022-23 is not coming back, unfortunately. Jesus, he had his own question marks. He's injured. He's irrelevant. Trossard's probably one of the more reliable ones. He can't really do it like that. Kai is technically one of our top goal scorers, and I think Kai is doing all he can within his limitations. I think he's a squad player at best. But until we answer these questions, and I say this all the time, I genuinely am a broken record, people. And it just, again, the market is different. Again, in the same way I'm saying people can change their mind and they can be wrong. I can't accept it, but I could accept maybe the club genuinely felt they didn't need a striker. But again, like somebody said, what if we just got Ollie Watkins in the summer? Like, what if you said, Sesko, forget that. You will get your game time. You might not start the season ahead of Kai Havertz, where I think that's madness or not. You will get your game time. Take your chances. I don't know, man. It is what it is. Great questions, great talking points. Hello, guys. I live in the US. I'm an Arsenal fan. If I could sit in the press room, I'd ask Arteta, why has he not made a purchase? We'll be sorry in May when it comes if we do not buy anyone. You said it there, man. And I don't think Arteta in the press conference will give you the honest truth, man. I would love to sit, it's never going to happen, but I would love to sit down with Edu. Jason Ito, you've been here a couple of months, so by default, Jason Ito, well, you've been in that role a couple of months, but Jason Ito, Edu, Josh Kroenke, because you're going to be more honest than Stan, and Mikel Arteta. And I'd say, talk to me. That I just want to know all of you lot's viewpoints as to why we didn't do X, Y, Z, because then I'll get the truth. Because I think everybody's got their own pluses and bonuses. Congratulations, Liverpool champions 2024-25. Big weekend for them, innit, really and truly, because I don't know if they've won, but at the moment they look like they're leading against Bournemouth. Obviously, Arsenal and City are playing each other, and they're, the trailing pack. If, they're in a win-win situation, either, Arsenal lose points, City lose points, or both lose points. And pardon me, what City are doing privately might be different from publicly, but they're throwing in the towel. Like, they've been saying it for the last few weeks. Like, Guardiola, I think everyone but Pep, their players have said, forget the title, basically. It's mad, man. DG, I see us getting goal first, but we'll let them play their football and risk them coming back into the game. I think we could draw against City for some reason. I don't really see them beating us. Our defense is that good. DG, Arteta out will officially start tomorrow after taking the L from City after this transfer situation. I'm so ready to see Arsenal fans going crazy. Hello, mate. I say it because going forward, I don't feel confident against anyone, and I shouldn't really think like that, mate. The Boniface thing could be absolute BS. I'm at the point now, yeah, I'll be real. On the best of days, I feel like this with transfers anyways, but considering it's the 1st of February, until I see David, well, I still would be pessimistic, but until I see Romano, Ornstein, Arsenal agree fees, medicals are taking place. And for me as a fan, I need to see you with the videos on arsenal.com holding shirts. Until that, it's all was. And that's on the best of days. That's how I feel about transfers. And at this moment in time, until I see that, it's just talking points for us, man. Is Morata available to bring on a loan? I saw he might even be going Galatasaray. Club is jokes. Throw the season away, clowns. Let's not sign anyone, please. We love our players. We're happy with them. I hate this club. Mo Salah down the wing. But someone could see a player in London at the petrol station and say he's going for Arsenal. I swear that happened with what's my man again, man? I keep forgetting names at the best of times. Smash the like button, folks. Bro, I just said he'd be a dream of a forward. His name Isak. Don't you remember Isak was in London apparently, and everyone's like, he's in London. He's having a medical. His car is 2 miles away. We're calculating the petrol. This amount of petrol will get into London Coley. Like, it's jarring, man. We're going to lose tomorrow. Havertz will miss 3 clear chances. A bit more optimism, man. I take Boniface. I do, however, think Jonathan David is better than him. Doesn't matter, though. Just get the bodies at this point. I'm kind of like that. 2-0 to the mighty Reds. Catch us if you can, you mugs. Marcel, anyone will think you're not a mod here, just shut up. Of course he's loving it. Of course he's loving it, and then he runs away. I hate when. Do you know what? Yeah, when it comes to football banter, I hate this. You must thing. You know, this guy's a fool. Big up Marcel though. I could be completely wrong here, but I feel whatever striker we sign, Arteta will not drop Havertz even next season or put him in midfield. On one hand, at the end of the day, I don't think Havertz is in my. I'm not even dissing Havertz. I genuinely feel, if you lot make your strongest 11, assume every Arsenal player's fit, your strongest 11. I think there'll only be. I think we could all agree on the vast nucleus of it. That right. If anything, there might left back and left wing might be where people are at really. But if everyone's fit, I feel the vast majority. And again, you might disagree, but I think everybody's having David Raya. Everyone's clearly having Saliba and Gabriel. Now, I think everyone's going to have Ben White, but again, fullbacks, I'm not really stressed. If you think Calafiori could be there, Ben White, Timber, Lewis Skelly, and this one can go right back or whatever you want to do, but for the argument's sake, Ben White, I prefer Timber on the right, and obviously shout out Lewis Skelly, but I'll go Timber on the left, just for this example, right? Midfield for me, Odegaard, Rice, and Thomas Partey at this moment in time. Saka, obviously, if it. Up front, I believe at the moment is Kai Havertz. On the left, my bias is naturally towards Martinelli. At this moment in time, it's probably Trossard, right? But I never said Kai Havertz is there by default because we haven't got another striker. So if you sign a striker, that's cool. Let's look at him in midfield. Now, if we assume Partey goes, and again, we can't talk. We're doing a lot of talking, or I am, about Ollie Watkins and Zubimendi, two players that are not at the club, right? But if we just assumed we signed Ollie Watkins, Havertz, you're going to have to come out of this of the thing, really, aren't you, really? Like, my man Watkins through the middle. In midfield, pardon me, are you playing Odegaard are you playing Havertz in the 10 over Odegaard? Even if you don't agree with Declan Rice in the 8, is it fair to say Declan Rice in the 8, Arteta trusts it a bit more because it's probably banging a lot more than Kai Havertz ever did, right? So you're not going to do anything like that. So where is Havertz? For me, it's a squad player thing. If you play out your skin and form and you can't be dropped, I'm all for that. And that's what I genuinely think is going to be the case with Kai Havertz, man. Even Gabriel Jesus is going to be an interesting one because we all know, unfortunately, Gabriel Jesus is probable fate, right? But he's contracted until 2027, 2 ACLs. You're going to have to keep him for another year, really. And I don't know if that would, or should affect what we're doing in the market and the wages and all of that sort of jazz, man. Can Arsenal afford Isak 100 million? Arsenal will struggle to win the league without elite strikers. I think Arsenal could afford to I think we could find the money for it. But again, Newcastle are not going to want to sell. Their priority is to give man a new deal. If they get Europe, there's no need for them to sell, especially if they build on the quality that they've got. You would need a lot. You would need Isak to burn bridges at Newcastle, and you need Newcastle to have a willingness to sell. We're not going to make Newcastle, as great as Isak is, they will pop. There's a reality they could reject 100 million because they're only going to make like 20 million profit anyways off Isak. Like, unless he really wants to leave. People forget they had to spend peas. They'd have to want to sell my man. They'd really have to want to sell him. The only people that have made a decent profit off Isak is Solskjaer. That they bought him for like 10 million quid, sold him for 80. Newcastle fans, I'm sure when they signed Isak, there must have been Uman and Aron because Isak he's always been rated. He was at Dortmund, we playing for Sweden and that, but he weren't held in the same regard as he is now. But they were convinced. Fair to say it worked out. And what we all know, the striker market, I can't say it's dead because definitely at this moment in time, it feels like everyone's able to sign a striker but us. But the striker market in my 29 years, this is probably the worst catalogue of forwards I've seen. And I know football's changed. The strikers got to drop deep and do all of this woke stuff. But if you've got that, is what is. And also, it's all fun and games. Let's just assume they bought Isak for 80 million. They sold him for 110, 115, 120. Cool, you've made a profit on him. But is it naive for me to say that, one, I don't know who you're going to find that is for quality as Isak? And two, is it fair to say that you're going to have to find a striker and it's going to cost you something? Because again, everybody knows that you're desperate because you need a forward if Newcastle did sell him. And everyone knows that you've got peas now because you spent the bag. So this is why listen, we can talk about Ollie Watkins, Isak, Gyökeres, Sesko, this one, that one. Is it better to sign one in the summer or January? All I'm going to say, Arsenal Football Club, if you sign one, great, and I'm proud of you lot for that, and it's long overdue. If you don't, please, there's no point even saying anything. I don't want to hear we tried. I really hate all of that. Who's on the market? We tried. In theory, I'm a logical man. A lot of this makes sense. It's the same language. It's the same language. DG, do you think that was a penalty for Liverpool? To be honest, I haven't seen it. I've just been looking at the scores. I watched a bit of the Brighton game where see a couple of goals from Forest. been a bit out of the loop, man. Gonna watch Wolves Aston Villa in a bit, but we're here now, man. So honestly, I don't know. I did see tweets and whatnot, but I don't know. What I would say, it's not Liverpool's fault, in it's dodgy refereeing week in, week out. Hopefully, we get a dodgy decision tomorrow, man. We need signings to have a shot at Europe, a striker with some magic moments in him. You said it, man. You have to keep building window by window. You cannot stay still. We now should be at a level where we need 1 or 2 players in the windows. But right now, we need at least 5 signings. Unfortunately, Richie, I wish I could say something different, but it feels like that, man. Like there's an illusion, really. And it did feel like it does. I wouldn't say we need another rebuild. And again, please, people, don't draw me out into this rebuild stuff. But I think to our starting 11, I think there's at least 2. I would say 2. In fact, I would say 3. I would genuinely say 3. There's 3 areas I would address. I'd get another midfielder. I'd get a striker. I'd get a winger. Then I think it's about the depth. We also got to sort out the goalkeeping situation, man. I'm not even getting at Neto, but we signed you on deadline day, and I'm not buying you, Neto. And sometimes things go wrong, and you have to pull rabbits out the hat. But you weren't first choice. You was nowhere near first choice. It was, you know what? It's either we get this experienced Donny, who, Bournemouth got Kepa and whatnot. He's experienced. He knows he can be the number 2. It's either we get this guy or we got 2 kids on the bench. And to be fair to Tommy Setford and Jack Porter, made his debut, big them up, but you need some experience. And I would hardly say Neto covered himself in glory in his last game. So we struggled, man. Like, we spent a good period of that window. Obviously, we was focused on strikers, on wingers, and this one. Nico Williams didn't want to leave. I hear that. Why is there not another winger? Sesko wanted to stay. Cool. Why is there not another striker? You wanted the Garcia lad, I think, the Espanyol goalie. We were prepared to put. Well, didn't he have like a 20 million release clause? One reason or another that didn't happen. And when people come out, and I know things go wrong. Sometimes you just have to adapt. Sometimes your plans don't go to plan. But it doesn't feel like ours ever really does. And no matter what you tell me about unique profiles and players to bring in and all of this stuff, I hear it. But when you rock up with Neto and Raheem Sterling, with the greatest of respect to them, all of them things there for me, I don't want to hear it, because to get to that point, I don't know how many players you've ran through, and you've shown that you're unable to do such. It is what it is. Trophy this season again. Arteta should go. Kroenke should go. Just sell the club, and the board should be disbanded. Kroenkes are not selling the club, bro. Like, they're not selling it, bro. They're doing their thing in their heads. They're not going nowhere. Start protesting against this ownership. We tried that. They didn't bang. The system Arteta keeps on making edits is good. It consistently puts us in a position to grab wins. We need some bad men in that front line, though. Goals win games, man. We need to sign someone now. There's still 1 trophy left fighting for, no matter what. And I'll be real, yeah. As I said, we can't win the FA Cup. I don't think we're coming from behind in the League Cup. I don't think we're winning the champs. Shit, I hope to be wrong. It'll be the greatest comeback in Premier League history. Liverpool are winning the Prem. But despite me thinking like that, the reality is it's January. I don't want the players I don't want the players to think like that. And as much as I might think that's the case, I don't want to do this woe is me thing. So if we're like, what? Am I just saying pack it up now? It's February. Like, the league's done in May. Whether we want to pack it up or what, we still have to keep playing the games. So we need to get our act together, man. Time to be real. If we don't beat City, I think we could end up 3rd in May. If we don't beat City tomorrow, the season is just a top 4 fight and maybe 1 Champions League run. Even that, like, where you look at the pattern in the Champions League, I mean, you're in the Champions League. You're never going to get an easy run. You're going to play some big teams, but it's going to get techie very quickly. DG, my guy, I just finished work. Sorry I missed most of the show. Don't ever apologize, man. You're here now and you're at work, bro. Shout the 9-to-5ers. You surely go and place respect for me and the lads in Nigeria. Big up Nigeria. I hope we sign someone, though. Why are we always late? Bro, I won't lie. I've got these same questions myself. I promise you, people, like, if I could answer, I would. Unfortunately, I can't. I don't know. I do think we're fans in it. We don't know what the club are trying, but it does always feel like it's us scrambling. Like, obviously, Rashford ain't a striker and they got him on loan, but like, even looking at Aston Villa, like, they've been signing players and getting players out. Duran, I mean, they got offered the offer they can't refuse in. I'm sure everyone's quote unquote happy financially. We heard Villa needed to make a sale. They signed Duran for what, 10 million. They're making a handsome profit on him, sold him for 70. He respectfully the guy, like, people always talk about legacy and development and whatnot. It's a job. Respectfully to Duran and his upbringing, at 21 years of age, he's gone from extreme poverty to getting paid handsome wages at Aston Villa to getting paid some serious dough in Saudi. Now, from a footballing point of view, of course, Aston Villa got the best of both worlds. 2 good strikers, young and old. They probably didn't want to sell Duran. But A, they got a decent fee. And whether we rate Rashford or not, they've managed to get a player on loan or get another attacker, and they're still being linked with João Felix. And whether these guys work or not, for me, them things there is we tried and whatnot. Not what we're doing. Liverpool are jammy. You need elements of being jammy to win a league. When the Invincibles won, we had bare draws. How many times, even when City have won leagues, you know, when Zinchenko and Gabriel Jesus used to come into the team towards the back end of the season, they used to do the same thing. DJ, how can you be happy without major trophies? Who said I'm happy? Who said who said I'm happy? Like, who said I'm happy? I'm 29, bro. My whole adult life, I have not big up the FA Cups. And yes, for them fans, like, yes, I support Arsenal regardless of trophies. I always say we have no divine right of winning trophies, but we've been flirting with it and we've been so close yet so far. Who's not happy with silverware? Nobody wants this football club to win the Champions League more than me, you know. I've seen respectfully to Manchester City. When I was in primary school and whatnot, you lot weren't big up City. There weren't no one. All I used to remember is Danny Mills. Omri used to bop him. Now I'm seeing them win a Champions League. So Chelsea do it twice. You know, Man United, the 2 times I've seen them win it in my life, it was jammy. I wouldn't call Liverpool jammy, but I've seen them come from a champion 3 goals down in the final. We ain't got no strong life in Europe like that. Of course, Arsenal have European trophies, but Arsenal fans, young and old, let's be honest, Europe's filled with more pain. If you told me when we last won the Premier League, when I used to get called a glory hunter in school for supporting Arsenal, we would have been what we're in now. Issues. Who said I'm happy with not winning major trophies? I'm not gonna F and blind that everything's crap and this one and that one. But at the same time, I am not happy to just be part of a journey, you know. Like, I'm not happy to just, I don't know about anyone else, but to my future kids and grandkids, I'm not gonna say we were so close in 2022, 23. 24, 23, 24, or this season, which of the 3, it's probably the worst title challenge we put up in it, really, because at least 2022, 23 didn't expect it, playing great football. Last year, it felt like we were a bit like Thanos, like we weren't pretty, but there was a bit of an inevitability about how we was winning games. This year, I can only speak for myself and some of you, because you've been supporting me for a while. I don't think we've been happy since the summer. I think we was disgruntled in the summer, obviously, based on how the previous season ended and what we went into and what we did or didn't do in the market. I don't think we've been happy since the Wolves game, or for the fans here, I don't think I've been happy since the Wolves games. There's been a couple of moments I've cut the club some slack. I feel, when we beat the top 6 naturally, I give the club credit for how we drew the game against City, and I actually liked how we won in the Champions League against PSG. They'd be my quote-unquote highlights of such. But happy? Nah. Could be happy. We want silverware, bro. What's going on, man? We're a fantastic club, but we have owners that don't want us to be fantastic, and the manager is an apprentice. He's done great things, but his stubbornness is like Wenger latter years. It's a double-edged sword, man, because all managers have to have an element of being, pardon me, stubborn. For me, it's more like, I'm not going to lie, Gaffer, whether you're an experienced manager or not, there's certain things I find myself talking about week in, week out, and a lot of things I've been saying for years. So if I can see it, forgive me for being a naive fan, but bro, you was a professional footballer. You are managing this football club. You must have seen it. And if you can see it, that means everybody internally at the club can see it. Why has nothing been done about it? We have needed that still. Nice formation. If we just got a fast guy at the start of the window, we would have been top. Arsenal just spend the money on Tell. 8 draws in the Prem this season. How does mid-table teams slap Newcastle left, right, and centre, and Arsenal struggle against them? I wish I had the answers, man. This club will start to lose a lot of fans if we don't win anything again. Just wait and see. I'll be frustrated, but I don't know about losing fans. Maybe the next generation, because there must be a generation of City fans now purely because they're winning. But yeah, as frustrated as it is, it's A's up till he frees up, man. Yeah, when you find out the phases of Slot and Nuno, let me know, innit? Bro, this club don't like a January window. We need serious ambition if you want to shop in this market, and we're clearly lacking in that department. Josh, one love. From the first week of transfers, we haven't done anything. Now it's at the end, and nothing. This owner needs to be told, just protest will wake them up and banners. To be fair with you, yeah, when you deep it, what have we done? Even in terms of outgoings, the young lad, Aiden Heaven, is left. There was rumors at one point. Well, Teeny's technically a Celtic player again. There was one point I genuinely felt, maybe last week or the week before, because the more credible journalists were kind of like giving legs to Zinchenko leaving, which a lot can quote unquote still happen. I thought Zinchenko would have left by now because it seemed like that could be a thing. I mean, Chris Wood would be amazing right now for us. Right now, we finish third, and if we don't sign a striker and winger, I think we finish fourth. So jarring, same old Arsenal. The league is gone in December. Liverpool 9 points up. February still 9 point league. It's impossible for Arsenal to catch too late. I want to be wrong, but I am not sitting here and saying Arsenal are coming back in that Premier. I will only believe in Arsenal winning the Premier League title when, as I said, when the questions I'm asking, I have answers. Then I'll truly believe. When I truly believe we've controlled every controllable, I promise you there won't be an Arsenal fan on YouTube screaming whether I look silly or not that will win the league. But I just feel Arsenal, there's too many variables that have to go in your favor, and the majority of them externally for you to win a title. Like everything has to be a bit too perfect. And again, success is never linear. We should all know that. Dane, one love, man. Appreciate you consistently supporting, man. Yes, the league, you know, I'm a City fan, but I think it'll be a draw. Big up yourself. I don't know where I stand, man. A draw against City is not the end of the world. If you can't win, don't lose. But I'd love to win, man. And I guess it's all ego-driven, beyond the obvious. Like, man, I don't really like how your players were going on at the Etihad, man. Off topic, DG. If you was a coach for a team, 3 questions. What would your style of play be? I mean, everyone's gonna say it, but I like attacking football, man. I'd like to think I play on the front foot, be attacking, a bit naive in that we're always attacking. I think bravery as well across all aspects. Who would be your assistant coach? I don't know, man. Where's Pat Rice or something, man? Big him up, man. Arsenal legend. Yeah, man, I'll probably do that, man. And will you be a strict or calm coach? I think you can't be either. You need balance. Like, you've got to be calm because you've got to talk to people like they're grown men. And like, if you're a manager, like, I know myself as a person, so I know footballers must be like that. If somebody shouted, like, I might assume we lost 38 games in a row, yeah, and the first week I shout at my dressing room, they might hear it. But if I'm always shouting, the message ain't gonna hit you. You got to know when to do it. You got to know who to do it to. Like, I might be able to shout at Bukayo Saka, say you're not good enough, and I get a reaction. I might say the same thing in the same tone to Kai Havertz, for example. He might go in his shell. So I think I think it depends, man. Like, you look at even these managers, like, you hear are strict disciplinarians. Of course they are. Like, zero tolerance. We're not messing about. But then there has to be elements of the other side where you look at Jurgen Klopp, in which, you know, he larger than life. He's jumping up and down. It's almost like he's a fan or he's one of the mandem. He's not that much one of the mandem. I mean, you wouldn't be the coach to the level he's had because there has to be some sort of distance. So, yeah, man. It's a good question, though. I want David at Arsenal so bad. I remember Awa came to London to shop and man said he was signing for the club. I all forgot Mr. Awa wasn't even a footballer, man. I even forgot that, man. Lately, Newcastle could throw this away. They're not in great form even at home. Listen, as I said, at this point, I just want to define the odds. I'd love us to come from behind against Newcastle. I'd love Liverpool to trip up and we come from behind and win the Premier League and we win at Anfield for once in the Prem. I'd love to do, the biggest thing is, define the odds in the Premier League. I know the bookies probably don't have Arsenal as the favourites, but the odds are probably not the worst. But yeah, man, it's all mad. It's all mad. Would you rather see Havertz in midfield or Moreno? Moreno still. It depends on this current version of Moreno. It all depends on the game, you know. It all depends on the game because I know Kai is not good on the ball and that, but if it's just a fighting thing of getting rid of a result and all men to the trenches, I think Kai's a bit more dynamic and it's not pretty, but he'll give me a bit more what I want. So I want to say Moreno, and I do think people are being harsh to him. I don't think he's that good of a footballer. I don't think he was necessarily required if we, are not going to simultaneously sign a centre mid that's a level raiser. But yeah, man, I did expect a bit more from Moreno, and just a bit more guy or a bit more tenacity. Negatives is can get ran a bit in midfield too much. I think his pocket gets picked a bit too much in midfield. I think it's taking a bit too long to adjust. But I did like when Sterling missed the penny, he was doing that. But I'd say that's probably, mate. At this moment, I'm not going to lie, neither, man. If a forward is scoring goals, I don't care if Havertz is in midfield. Arteta has shown he'll drop Havertz if it isn't working. We just don't have any other options. But I think Ethan is saved us having to buy Saka back up, so there might be an extra 50 million for a striker. I remember that we're in for Katike. Everyone keeps saying that, but is there legitimacy to these rumours, or is it a case of another player that's playing well? Arsenal need a player. Forgive me if I'm wrong. Isn't he at Frankfurt? And I think they signed Wahi, but they just let Marmoush go. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know why we didn't go for him. I understand once City getting involved, the law of playing for City, which they win stuff. Pep Guardiola, handsome wages, but guys like see, even the little Marmoush thing that could have been done. How much did they even buy him for? Sorry, people, I'm coming back, man. It's getting cold. Let me close the window. Like, that's the frustrating thing. Even Napoli's, I know we're not going to sign Napoli's Kvaratskhelia in it. I know Arsenal are not going to do it, but it just felt like that's one to be done, man. Have you seen the Liverpool pen? No, I haven't, but that's the third person that said that. It was soft, but a penalty. But the only way is that leaves Newcastle is with a transfer request and Madrid coming in. This Jason Ito brother couldn't even bring an unknown 18-year-old from Norway. We're cooked. I don't know, man. There's more strikers popping up now than last year. They're always gonna pop up, bro. Like in the summer, assuming we don't sign one in this window, in the summer, yeah, we're gonna, we're definitely gonna see Isak's name in one of my titles. We're talking about Isak and Sesko and Vlahovic and this one and that one, but there's gonna be a new name, and there's gonna be a new name after that. We've not really spoken about wingers, but there'll be names. They got to start somewhere, man. There's ballers everywhere. Again, that's one thing. I'm not saying you're saying this, yeah, but when people say, "Oh," if I say, "Oh, I want a striker," and people say, "Oh, who would we get?" I hear that, but that's not my job. That's not my job. I'm just looking at it. We need a striker. If I own a company and I go to my like I got a manager of one of my teams and I say we need a graphics designer, I don't know who to sign to do the graphics thing. I just know we need one. Deploy who you need to deploy to bring and assess and let's interview and go where we're going. And obviously, on one hand, the better you get, you can't just sign anyone and all of that jazz. But on the other hand, bro, these lot have, whether we rate the scouts or not, there's scouts, there's analysts, there's people that are directly watching football. Our coaches. And I think one thing that goes over a lot of people's heads beyond Mikel Arteta, yeah, obviously Mikel Arteta is not even identifying players, recommending players, having his say, etc. Especially around the goalies, yeah. When you read, especially on The Athletic and the more credible people that do the rumors, especially anything to do with goalies, yeah, I promise you, if you look at anything to do with Aaron Ramsdale signing, potentially leaving, David Raya coming in, that João Garcia lad was in, you keep hearing Inaki Williams' recommendation. Who is Inaki Williams, you ask, if you don't know? The goalkeeping coach. So Arteta might think about it logically. If I'm Arteta, I know we need a goalie, but my man is the goalkeeping connoisseur here. Who do you think is the guy? Make it happen, man. There's people literally paid to watch only for football games at the club from an analytical point, and then put these strikers' metrics and their strengths and their weaknesses against whatever is whatever the remit is of a good striker at our club, whether he's young, whether he's fast, work the channels, temperament, all of that kind of jazz. Boniface has a good record this season, 10 games, 6 goals, but I wonder why Schick plays over him. That's a good point, and one that we'd have to probably speak to the Leverkusen fans. I know Jabi Alonso's at times tinkers with his lineup, but I don't know, man. If there was a foul, there was a foul on Cliver in the build-up to the Liverpool pen, plus McAllister was lucky to stay on. Just seems like Liverpool's year. It does. Arsenal will significantly step up their search for a sporting director upon the close of the transfer window. Shortlisting is complete. That's great. Bring me a player this window and do what you're doing, because you didn't need a sporting director to lodge whatever bid you did for Ollie Watkins or do whatever you've done, to this point. Because all clubs have probably made some level of inquiries that will never see the light of day to us, fan. We're not gonna get Tell, but we've spoken about Tell. We've bid for Ollie Watkins. That never stopped us. Not having one didn't stop us, and that's great. But yeah, man, we need to pull something out the hat now and begin the work for the summer. And it is what it is on the playing front from now till the window closes, man. Let's be honest, we are not signing anyone. I said this in December. Arsenal don't do business in January. Liverpool literally had an onside goal given as offside last year. They're just getting their positive karma back in. It's fair. I honestly think Arsenal should forget about this season, and this is another incompetence of Arsenal boardroom. Kroenke will only go if the fans boycott the games for 10 games. But the boycotting thing's a myth, even if it is that. I'm not trying to be a negative don or pour water on it, but realistically, if I own a season ticket, for every game I don't go, there's thousands of Arsenal fans that will fight for that ticket. You know, Arsenal fans, we only do that when it gets really mad. And right now, there's a lot of division. I think we're all, whether you're one of them positive dons or toxic dons, I think everyone can see that what we need to do. I think everyone's frustrated with us not doing things in the summer, but it's not got to that point of like internal wars or a civil war within the fan base. DG, we should go protest, and magically the owners are gone the next day. Boy, man, think the Kroenkes are like the Glazers or FFG. They're a different class of billionaire. They don't even need to sell the club. No ambition in this club. Just clocking into to the stream, DG. Big ups to you, my brother, doing God's work for us Arsenal fans. Big ups and one love, my bro. Right back at you and everyone in the chat, man. If the fan base had higher standards, the owners would have sold the club a long time ago. I hear it, Samuel, yeah, and I'm not saying you're wrong, but let's just assume they have high standards. Like the fans got the highest standards you speak of, and I'm not trying to catch you out or boy you or doing all of that, yeah. But so suppose our standards are that high, like how do they sell the club? Because the only way in life, well, in a footballer's sense, is to vote with money, and people are still going to buy shirts, bro. They're still going to go to the games because at the end of the day, they love the club, rightly or wrongly. Protesting ain't going to do nothing. And I'm not even listen, everyone can voice their opinion. I'm not saying protests don't work, but every day there's protests around something all over the world. And it feels good. And I'm not pouring in, I'm not shitting on it. It feels good. It does. For an hour, a day, you're charged. But the next day, what really happens? And realistically, if you're the Kroenkes and you're them, rightly or wrongly, you're just going to look out your window at the Emirates. If you're even in London, you might just be looking at it on Zoom. Arsenal fans are going to scream and shout, shake all about. The vast majority of these fans that are going to be protesting, they got to go home sometime. They got to go to work sometime. They got to look after the kids. They got to do what normal people got to do. No one is just going to stand out there forever. And to be fair with you, there's been, and again, I'm not saying it's wrong, but there's been protests since the moment these lot came in and the moment we moved to the Emirates. And it's fair to say them times there was a lot darker than it is now. So if they're looking at, if they can survive that, they can survive anything. They bought this club, well, they owned the club fully in 2018. They got a manager that's going to get you Champions League football. And if you win something great, that's it for them. So DG, you're telling me Santiago Jimenez, who Milan are getting, ain't worth trying to sign. At this point, it probably is. I must admit, I'm not really keen on him, but fair play. Will City get humbled tomorrow? I'm going for 2-1 Arsenal, man. The money for Duran, in my opinion, is to replace Watkins in the summer. Rashford is a gap filler now. Duran has gone. It's exactly that. But at least they've pulled something out. I'm telling you, we've got the worst business team. They're always smiling too much and acting hella feeble and wanting Abramovich. Big up, everyone. We got 2 days, 4 hours and 39 minutes until the window shuts. Some people at Arsenal got to get the sack. Tim Lewis, Richard Garlick, Jason Aito. They're not going to get the sack. They're the eyes and ears, man. I'll never tell my children to support Arsenal. They do not deserve this pain. Nah, they're supporting Arsenal with me. I cannot cap to you, man. They're supporting. I mean, free will, they can support they want, but hella propaganda, man. Yeah, to be fair, I said a 6 out of 10 in the summer, mainly because of the outgoings. And I can't lie, I was ecstatic about the signing of Calafiori. I stand by that. But I give it a 4 or 5 because I did say in the summer, and I still maintain we missed the trick, not bringing in a winger, messing about in midfield, not signing a game changer and not signing a striker. And I don't think we improved the depth. And when you deep it, obviously hindsight's a wonderful thing. I still believe wholeheartedly in Calafiori. I think he's roaring that. But at this moment in time, for a team that's second, good or bad, for a team that's second, for a team that on paper right now is still in the League Cup, for a team that is still in the Champions League, yeah, with everything we've faced, yeah, and the injuries and the available players we have now, which because there's injuries, some of these players might get in default. How many of these players that came in the summer are in Arsenal's strongest 11? How many of them have really elevated anything? How many of them at this moment in time, if they are fit, are we looking at and like, yeah, you know what, Saka's injured, we're up against it, you lot can get us out of trouble, we got some belief. Respectfully, Raheem, I think you was more positive than I've seen you in a minute against Girona. The bar is on the floor in that regard, so we can forget about that. Calafiori, I like you, but Lewis Skelly probably looks the better option for many Arsenal fan at this moment in time, who's come from the academy. Moreno, I don't think you're the worst player, but I don't think if we weren't going to bring in a game changer midfielder, a long-term partner for Declan Rice, in addition to you, I think we shouldn't. I think we should have went for that rather than you, but you get the point. Neto, you're, number 2, and you ain't going to get nowhere near Raya's spot with them antics that you did. So Again, we're paying for our sins. This is what I mean. Wasn't Zinchenko meant to be going Atletico or Dortmund? I don't know. Maybe there's talk. Maybe things have changed. Either way, man, I'm not moving, innit? All right, chat, please, man. If there's any nonsense going on, mods, get people out there doing nonsense, man. Like, we're having a good football chat. We don't want to see idiot stuff. New generation require more empathetic coaching, gone soft. Yeah, exactly. And I just think that's in society. I think people are softer in today's day and age, man. Like everything, there's always that. Yeah, man. I think so. And we got to remember, player power is a massive thing. Unless you get the Mikel Arteta. You see when he was beefing Aubameyang and Ozil, clearly he's got the green light from above that you can do what you want. Or in Amarin's case, he's clearly got the green light to judge Rashford how he judges Rashford. If he wants him back in the team, you can play. If you're not fancying him, we'll back you, which maybe other managers at United didn't get. It's peak for you. You know, all it takes is for you to lose 3-4 players. You know, if you lose, like, let's just say 4 players are the big dogs in the locker room. Like, they hold weight. It's all clicky. If you lose them, it spreads to the others. And then it's peak. Deluded, you should beat Man City as you have the new Yamal. And did we sign a new player? I'm not sure what you mean by that, man. If we're being real, DG, last 2 seasons we had chances to win the league, and Arteta's game management effed us. Arne Slot had very good game management. I agree, because I can't sit here and say the Cronkies are the reason that we didn't win the league 2 points off last season. I'll cut everyone some excuses if you could say that for the 2022-23 season, but to be where we're at now, and to still be second and feel this way and not feel that we can turn the odds in our favor, or, you know, it's like me have the belief that it's impossible we're going to get near City, but I believe that we can do something. And obviously what we've spoken about last year, the window ain't ended, so all we can do is keep going, man. Looking like another season, Arteta and these players failed to finish on top. Arteta doesn't have a winning mentality. It's clear to see when he keeps bringing in the wrong players into the squad. I like the French striker at Frankfurt. He looks like a young Isak. Hugo Ekitike. Ollie Watkins bagged. Or you running banner? Because I only say that because I swear Aston Villa are playing Wolves. Big up you if you're being an idiot. At this rate, that Liverpool game will be a guard of honour. I hope not, bro. I hope not, man. I really, really, really hope not, man. I hope not, man. To be fair, Liverpool players who have been there for all those years, City beat them to the title, deserve an opportunity to win again before they leave the club. They don't have much time. I hear that, but like, even though Liverpool have lost the war against City, yeah, they're about to, well, they've got 1 Premier League, which again, Klopp goes down in folklore for that. Probably going to get 2. They've been, you know, they've won the champs. I'm sure everything that Klopp could play for, he's won in it, unless they've been eligible for some Club World Cup. I don't know about that. They've still, regardless of City doing whatever and whatever their fans have to say about the FSG and lack of investment, somebody, whether it's Salah, whether it's the players, whether it's Klopp, whether it's Michael Edwards, whether it's whatever, they've still made it happen. They've attached some memories. It's set in stone. And that's what I would have liked to have seen with Arsenal. Who remembers the Kim Kallström signing on deadline day in the last decade? Don't remember that year, yeah. I think it was in the summer, you know. I'm sure we got bopped. I don't want to say the scoreline, but we played a team in Manchester. We got bopped. Ashley Young did a madness that we got kettled. And it felt, I'm sure we signed bare players off the back of that. Like the next day we signed bare players. I'm sure there was another January. When did Mertesacker sign for us? Or maybe I'm conflicting the two, because I feel like there was a period, couple players walked in. This is what happens when you don't have a footballing director. I'll never forgive Eddie for cutting mid-season. I hear that, yeah, but one, we could have been in this, smash the like button, people, almost at 132. We could have very easily been in this scenario, yeah, regardless of Edu, like we have before. And 2, Edu don't owe us nothing, you know. Like, at the end of the day, like, yeah, you can say it, but at the end of the day, if Edu thinks that's a better opportunity for him, like, if he thinks that's a better opportunity for him and he's getting more authority and that's something he wants to do, fair enough, because in Edu's defense, I think there's been a lot of incompetence, but I personally feel his voice gets crowded out by people with a stroke like that have more authority. And also, like, the multi-club model, like Arteta even said he wanted that. Like, it seemed like Edu really wanted that. Kroenke, for whatever reason, they're not trying to do that. They've got that over Newcastle. I keep saying Newcastle, Nottingham Forest. He's going to go and do that. And some fans didn't even want the man here. So let's just assume, not that I think he did, but he cares about fans having negative thoughts on him. What if he said, these men don't even like me anyway, safe? Because one thing I like now is man just can't just blame him now. He's gone. So I hear you, but he don't really owe us nothing. Like, Eddie don't really owe us nothing. That it's in the same way that if Saka said I wanted to leave tomorrow, yeah, well, he's injured for one, and yeah, you're probably not going to leave mid-season, but you don't owe us nothing, man. Big up Henry Bravo. Joining late, DG, but how do you feel about the Watkins bid, and should we try once more before the window ends? At this point, you might as well try a bid for other players, and you might as well try again for Watkins. You never know. Pardon me, we bidded on Monday. It weren't on the eve of the Champions League. As I said, man, I just think it's too little too late, man. DG, who do you think is the new sporting director? I think it's going to be Dan Ashworth and the Real Sociedad one. I want the sport. I want my man. I want my man. Alabi from Sociedad. Wolves 1-0. Watkins not coming. To be fair, man, like you got Watkins. I even forgot, like, because you mentioned Wolves. We was, again, getting these players is another thing. But up until this week with the Watkins stuff, it was all. First, it was we're doing nothing. Then it became all about Sesko in January. It all became about Sesko and we're trying to get him now. Now it's in the summer. Then there was a period it's all about Cunha. Like, we're going to try this Cunha thing. That kind of deaded off now. Now it's about Watkins. And at this moment, no one's in. Watkins is cup tied. Why buy him? Okay. Please like and subscribe to support our brother Martin. Appreciate that. That ain't the real Tom Canton, but hey, why, bro? Big up the real Tom Canton. I can't imagine not following Gooner Talk TV, but yeah. KSE strategy, waiting for preferred targets to become available, not wanting to overpay in inflated markets, becoming too methodical in their approach to recruit and overvaluing financial flexibility. Can't disagree. I'm not gonna lie, yeah. I'm not gonna get at I love Rosicky as a player. You could very well be the best option of sporting director. I don't know what you've done or not done. But what I would say for me, I don't want that because I think it's too friendly. It's too football managery. Like you're just getting, we all do that in football manager. Henri becomes one of your coaches. You get a former player sporting director. I think it's all friend stuff. Again, Rosicky, I don't know how long you've been doing at Prague, and I'm sure you've done good stuff, but I think we need someone with a proven track record, hands-on, been here, done that, knows how to make things happen because there's got to be a correlation with obviously Emre doing the business on the pitch for Aston Villa indirectly, the tactics and whatnot. But they've got Monchi. I know he hasn't worked out everywhere he's been, but has he not been at Roma? Has he not been at Sevilla? He's been part of some serious projects. Alabi, been there at Sociedad with Isak, with even getting Odegaard on loan, with everything he's done. Luis Campos, Monaco and Leo. I want someone like that that's got a. And again, I'm saying this. I don't know. I know what we see in front of us. I've never had a conversation with you lot, but I want someone with a track record. I think personally, we tried to do this everybody growing to pause together thing with the young sporting director in Edu and Arteta. It didn't work. Let's get someone a bit more experienced that's been there, that's done it, that's wore the t-shirt. And most importantly for me, the Kroenkes have to give him some level of an equal say, quote unquote, to Arteta, because I don't think that's been the case. I think when there's take Kai Havertz. I don't think Kai Havertz is a player that everybody unanimously agreed. Like whether you're Tim Lewis, Garlic, Jason Ito's not a decision maker, but he was Edu's assistant, so he would have been there, Edu and Arteta. I think once everybody fights and deliberates, but I think if Arteta pushes, Arteta gets it. I kind of want a sporting director that can size up in that regards and say, you know what, I know you want Kai Havertz, but can we do this elsewhere? Like, can we do 65 million? I know you want Moreno, but there's not money for 2 centre mids. Why don't you go for this one? I don't agree with this, but Declan Rice, they might have said, you know what, we can get a 6 or someone that can do the right stuff that might not come with the English premium that gives you more money. I know you like Calafiori, and I'm not dissing Calafiori. I'm just providing talking points. What if you spend a bit less so there's a bit more to go elsewhere? I don't know. Maybe we don't give this one a new contract, and you lot get where I'm going with it, man. The time we go wrong is paying a huge salary for Havertz and Rice and not selling someone equally higher wage like them. See, now the injuries come, more players will get free transfers out in the future. But all the talk apart from Watkins has just been idle rubbish chatted by YouTubers. Then another final rival says it's a link and makes a video. Football Terrorist operates that way all the time. Andy, big up yourself. My shout for Football Terrorist. I guess the game's the game, but this is why I say for me, I'm more than happy to talk about the paper nonsense, but we know 99.9% of it is BS. Until a man's holding a shirt, nobody cares. And yeah, like that's all it is, man. Like Kroenke is old money. My man is probably seeing the inflation on these average players and telling Josh and Arteta, what do you mean 70 million or Sesko? At the same time, yeah, clearly I've said how I feel about the Kroenkes, but at the same time, I I wouldn't be a man if I sat here and I lied to you. I don't think you can just sit here and blame the Cronkies. Because the Cronkies, I've said this a couple of times, they could turn around and say, DJ, I hear that. You're allowed to feel how you feel about us. We're doing what we're doing. You can judge us on what we're doing. But they can say, listen, you can't blame me for Kai Havertz. We put people in place, whether you disagree or not. What our thing is, we put people in place. We leave them to their own devices. We let the more knowledgeable people do what they're doing. Fair enough. We didn't say to buy Kai Havertz. The gaffer said that. We gave him the money. We didn't say to buy Declan Rice. We gave him the money. All the new contracts, we gave them out. When he wanted to rip up deals, we gave them out. However many goalies, he gave them out. He wanted all these defenders, we gave them out. You can't say, I can't sit here, maybe not back to the level they would, and we know it's a context, but I can't sit here and say the Cronkies haven't backed you. Like, I'd be dishonest. I am not defending the Cronkies, nor am I defending Arteta. I can't say they haven't backed you. Like, you weren't the unanimous choice. Like, you was a novice manager. They've stood by you where you could have got sacked. You've been allowed to, win a lot of political games. We've been on a journey. Every Arsenal fan that's balanced, you know what I'm referring to and how we've got here in it. So I don't think you can just completely blame Arteta. I don't think you can just sit here and completely behave like I feel some people do, that Arteta is completely blameless and he's not complicit in anything. I don't think you can completely get at Edu, but I don't think you can't not get him. And the team talk about collaboration. For me, I'm not interested in who said what. Whatever your role is at the club, we're so close to winning something, but we're so far. All you lot need to sort it out, innit? That's just me, personally. What's the beef with Beijing? God, man, he's just a mud who don't like me, man. He's just a mud who don't like me. Can't be beef. I don't know what Donny looks like, me. Wenger had Dean, club need push and pull, and exactly that. Wenger's a genius, but to be a genius, you've got to be a maniac. You've got to be crazy. Every time Wenger was getting a bit too loopy, David Dean pulled him back in. We've not got that here. I like Calla. We make some good signings here and there. That's what it makes it frustrating. I've got time for Calafiori. I've got time for him. Me, you just need to make minor improvements in your game. You're good. Like, I'm not expecting you to be the finished article at 22. But it is another case where, ironically, of the signings we made in the summer, the defender's the one that looks the waviest, isn't it? Like, yeah, Sterling's a yard man. He's down on his luck. Yeah, we didn't want you, but at the end of the day, we got you. We all saw the video you had. We were backing it, but there was no way we thought we were going to get out the hood with Sterling. Like, Neto, number 2, it is what it is, really. You're a non-starter. Moreno, I don't think you're terrible, but again, you're not a level raiser. Everybody has to look over their shoulder, but I don't think Partey or Declan Rice are doing this. Like, I had a bad game. My man that they just signed could take my place. If Rice is going to be at 8, could you argue there needs to be an 8 that can genuinely take his place or fight him? The same goes for whoever is playing 6. A lot of these things we've spoken about again and again. Gav's highlights, big up yourself. Big up the reactors and the highlight dons, man. I hope you're doing well and safe. Nah, DG, we got to be like Bayern and Atletico. Buy an expensive striker, the cheap winger. If the winger doesn't work, promote for Haaland. Listen, for me, if you have to spend peas, or if you can find a player for $1 or £1, if you like myself in United Kingdom, or 100 million, and you've decided that's what you're going to do, great. I just want the best players at the club. All I know is, for me, and I don't know everything, I think to go to the next level, you need a striker. You need another versatile inside forward winger, probably one off the left, but could kind of mix on both flanks. I think you need if you want to persist with Declan Rice at 8, you need a quality 6 in it. If you want to move into the 6, you need an 8. So let's just say midfielder and not get hung up on all of that. I think those are the 3 signings that upgrade our immediate 11. And then it's about the depth. We spoke about what happens if White, Saka, or Odegaard are injured. We've spoken about if Odegaard's off the boil. We've spoken about needing a consistent partner for Declan Rice. We've spoken about several men being injured. The ones that if they stop scoring, what happens? Because even the more durable players, whatever you say about Kai Havertz, he's kind of ever present. And I know he's been injured. Well, he's been ill, but even he looks a bit spent and knackered. We all saw it against Wolves. Declan Rice had a bust toe, but even that, at times, he looks spent. I really don't want to get into the whole Saka rest and overplay, but you get it. Young Ethan, physically, he's learning how to play at this level. And to be fair, Arteta did say that. You remember the Brentford-Brighton kind of period? He got like a muscle injury or whatever. So these are things we knew. Like, these are everything at our door right now. There's nothing, even on a coaching front, needing to score from open play more than set pieces. Our defenders bailing us out. There's nothing that we discovered, whenever game week 1, whatever day that was in August, there's no issue we have seen from then to this point that we didn't know the previous season or we didn't speak about in the summer. Which is why I said, If you believe in fairy tales and everything going right for us and wrong for others, and the sun's just going to shine, then we might be able to win a title. But with everything I've said, for me, it would have been blind optimism to think we're going to win a league trophy. I'm very disappointed that we're not in a League Cup final. We're not in the FA Cup. I thought one of the domestic cups, as I said in the summer, you can go back to my videos around then. I think they're very achievable. Champs, you're in it to win it. Just try in it. The Prem, you would love that to be the case. But for me, staying on course, there's no way I could have said all the things that I said there, felt the way I felt, and came into the season believing that we look like a team that's better. Like, we look like a team that's not going to be in a situation where we're actually going to be worse, where we only finished 2 points off City. There's no way I could have looked at that summer and said, yeah, we're going to win the league. There's definitely some positives. I could have said, you know what, if you could get us playing attacking football again, the defensive still of last year, there's certain positives. The players get better. Maybe certain man keep scoring goals. But this is all ifs and buts. You see, if you want to win the Prem, you need to be able to answer questions. When we've been shit, pardon my French, when we've just been shit across 90 minutes, who's getting us out of it? Who's going to score the goals if Saka isn't there or whatever? What sort of level of clean sheets are we going for? So when we can answer all of these questions, or I genuinely feel I have the answers, there'll be no one on YouTube that will sit here, rightly or wrongly, clipped up or not, saying Arsenal are going to do X, Y, Z. Until then, though, you lot are not stupid. That's why we're here, people. We're not doing the sensationalized madness. We're not pretending everything's great for no reason. There's nothing. You lot are smart people. Like I've said it, innit? So yeah, people, it is that. It is that. It's always lovely being here with you. Look, the 23-24 transfer window is the start of the downhill. As soon as how Arsenal could afford to get Rice and Havertz at the same time. Both salary is high, 200k above. So one of them joined us at the wrong time. I wouldn't extend that to Declan. Arsenal need a bigger name head coach. Mancini is available. Listen, big up Mancini, but what does the name thing do? Like, yeah, give me a prime Jose, a prime Wenger, this one, you know, Klopp, yeah, but what does a name do? Like, big name, what does that mean? Because if being a big name meant anything, I'm not saying you're wrong, but if being a big name meant anything, you know, Louis van Gaal was our big boy manager. From a coaching perspective, because of the PR, Ten Hag had that. Jose Defo had that going in and still got that. If that was it, then United would be doing what they were doing. I'm 29. They would have been doing what they were doing in the early 2000s. They'd be back being the big bad bullies. You just need the right guy. If Arteta left tomorrow, I know we're not getting Xabi Alonso, but I think he's very similar to Arteta, but he tweaks things a lot more. And he's obviously won a title. My wild card would be Gasperini. I do like Inzaghi of Inter Milan. I think I would love Carlo at the club, obviously, if he left Real Madrid. But at the same time, yeah, I think the club's too much in the mess. Like, Carlo's a man that everything's just got to be patterned. Just let Carlo do his thing. We don't want to disrespect that legend. Have him coming here talking about rebuilds and this, that, and the other. Make sure you've got everything in place. Let Carlo just do that. Let's win some trophies, man. So it's not just a name thing, man. We ain't signed no one. A new coach isn't making Trossard and Martinelli score 20 goals a season, in my opinion. You need to upgrade Rob. And that's the thing. Like, at some point now, man, have to just accept. Martinelli, we are all hoping you become one of them wingers, but you're not that. It's a bench rotation thing. Trossard, it's a bench rotation thing. Kai Havertz, it's a bench rotation thing. Moreno, it's a bench rotation thing. Defense, I can't lie, you lot can't all fight it out. Kivio Zini, at best, it's a bench rotation thing. But Lewis Skelly, Timber, Calafiori, Gabriel, Saliba, have I said Ben White? Ben White. I know he's injured people, but you know I'm very biased. Tomiyasu. You lot fight it out, innit? Give Arteta a headache. May the best man win. I'm cool with you lot in defense. You lot, apart from obviously Saliba and Gabriel have to play. If a proper striker was bought after the 22-23 season, Arsenal would have won the league last year. But if we had someone better than Rob Holding, or we had someone better than Kivio, which I'm not even dissing Kivio for that season, but you could have argued when Saliba got injured, somebody that's certified just comes in. There's a decent level. They might not be amazing, but they're reliable. We keep it moving. I don't want to say we're not signing anyone. I'm not going to hold my breath. I'm not going to be shocked if we don't sign anyone. But I'm still in the surely, like, because it's negligence, incompetence, stupidity, naivety. It's one of these things, or it's all of them. If this window closes and you do not do what needs to be done. I hope I'm wrong, people. 48 hours. It's not the money, it's the personnel. Every other team is having to pay more or less the same prices and wages. There you have it there. People in my comments always say you are the most down-to-earth Arsenal fan, even though your name is Deluded. We're at. Appreciate them, man. We're at where we're at. Like where we're at now, man. Ozil would probably cost 100 to 110 mil in today's market. And again, we know about this. You can criticize Ozil and the good, bad, and the ugly. At the end of the day, Mesut Ozil, they're them players there. You buy, it's like buying a flat. It's like you bought a new house. You have to do all the refurbishments. You need to make sure you've got plumbing, heating, everything that you need a house. You know, make sure the house looks pretty nice. You got furniture, everything is sweet. Then you can talk about surround sound and projectors and that. That's like Mesut Ozil. Your whole house has to be in order. You can't sign in a majestic player who, I love Ozil, he's a bit of a pussy, and expect him to get all the goals and, you know, again, accepting players for what they are, rightly or wrongly. Ozil's not someone that is he's done it on occasion, but on a consistent base throughout his year is going to roll up his socks and his sleeves and get us out of it. We've been here before, man. All on the left side. That's where we have no balance. That's why Forest are looking so good. Balance. Liverpool have it with Diaz or Gakpo. I must admit, yeah, I'm not saying to buy these players, but I've been looking at Forest and I'm just like, bro, you know what? Langa's showing some consistency. Hudson-Odoi, you've shown me some consistency. And I'm jealous of football clubs, man. Liverpool fans riding high. Newcastle fans riding high. Forest fans riding high. Fair to say Fulham. I'd say Fulham as well. Might be a one team I missed out. Is the salary a concern, mate? See, Partey is one going to get rid by Arteta soon because of his salary. Obviously, the salaries play a part. At the end of the day, I hate to refer it to that, yeah, but it's a business, isn't it? Like, it is a business. But we are going to have to be in a scenario one day, maybe not to the City levels and PSGs, but there are going to be a couple of players that are not necessarily, quote-unquote, in your starting 11 that are going to be on handsome wages. That being said, though, you would imagine it's an opportunity which, away from everything, yeah, based on what we said about the summer market, based on what I feel personally, there was a bit of an emphasis, whether we needed to or not, on outgoings and getting some money. I don't think those above Mikel Arteta ever thought really and truly was saying, yeah, you know what, we're going to really make it a big go at this league thing. If Arteta and the players can pull a rabbit out their hat, which evidently is not happening, then fair, but I don't think they were doing that. But yeah, you'd imagine the plan would have been to get rid of Gabriel Jesus or listen to offers, you know, wish him all the best with his injury. But with what he had, it's fair to say he's not going anywhere anytime soon. But so yeah, exclude him. But Jorginho's probably on, I don't know. I don't pocket watch, but I guess maybe like anything from 60 to 70 to 80 kind of thousand a week. Partey's obviously on like 250. Tierney's on 100 bags, apparently. Nelson's still at the club on 100 bags. Zinni's probably on something healthy. You know, Kivio's probably on like 40, 50. It all adds up, in it. And there's probably some more. You cut a couple of these, you know, you're not going to even be paying the little percentage of Sterling or Netos. Lokonga, Fabio Vieira. There's still things that need to be done. Again, I don't expect us. In terms of income, you need to get everything right. But naturally, I don't expect our club, and I've been saying it for years, I don't expect us to do, even when I'm unhappy with the window or happy, I don't expect us to do everything. I don't expect us to get all the players in and all the players out. But it feels like, well, next summer, you're going to have to, this summer coming better yet, you're going to have to do serious stuff. I'll be real with you. White isn't getting back into the team. If it was Michael, I'm going Timber on the right, Lewis on the left. I hear it, but I need these problems. These are good problems. These are very, very good problems, man. I think we've got good balance, you know. Like, I'm cool with anything. Calafiori and Ben White, Timber and Calafiori, Ben White and Lewis Skelly and Timber, whatever. I'm cool with the fullbacks. That's why I said, may the best team win. I think it's different horses for different courses. I think Lewis Skelly, you keep doing what you're doing. You know, that's your spot. Calafiori, I think you need to take things, like polish certain things in your game, but I think you got quality. I do think in certain games, not on a consistent basis, but a part of me would put Timber at left back, depending on things. Kind of the same logic with, like, if we're playing Salah, Tomiyasu's got to be a candidate to just stick on Salah. So I'm cool with the fullbacks. Like, I'm really cool with the fullbacks. I'm really cool, and I hope there's another centre back, like maybe not to Saliba and Gabriel's level, but could get in the mix. I'm cool with the defense. Like, I've got a lot more. I'm a lot as a unit. You lot do your job a lot more than everyone else. I'm cool with you lot. Like, you lot are doing your job and even doing more other people's job. You're always scoring in that. And 9 times out of 10, I'm watching the highlights. These are the guys having the best chances, which is madness in itself. Arsenal should let Tierney go. Celtic. Do you know what? I wonder if they would have let him go. No, they would let. I wonder if they'll let him go if there is some real legs or any real pace in Inzini got into either, I think someone said Dortmund, but he's linked with Dortmund and Atletico. If he goes, I think if he stays, then I think you let Tini go. But I think they're anticipating, you know what, Zini, there might be something there. But there is logic between, from a footballing basis, and we are crying about a lack of bodies. With, you know what, you man are staying. Like, do what you need to do in the summer. I can't lie, Calafiori left mid, that's crazy, man. Lewis Skelly's been brilliant at left back this season. Could there ever be a case where he gets frustrated at playing left back and wants to play in his original position like Ainsley Maitland-Niles? I mean, it's always a possibility, but I think Lewis Skelly's like Saka, innit? Like, yeah, like Saka was playing left back. Clearly didn't, like, if you ask him, his best position is not left back, but at the end of the day, you get minutes, you do your thing, and there might come an opportunity where you can play elsewhere. Like, I think Lewis Skelly will get a chance at midfield because I think Mikel Arteta rates him in midfield, but he also thinks he's got qualities at left back. In the summer, we heard that's the thing. And maybe sometimes in life, it's a bit like Lauren. Like, for those old enough to remember, it's a bit like Lauren. Wenger said Lauren saw himself as a centre mid. He badly saw himself as a centre mid. Wenger said, you could be a very good right back. So Lauren, as a man, settled himself. You became invincible. Keep going. Trent Alexander-Arnold. I know all the talk is about him being a midfielder and that, but reality is, if he didn't, someone gave him a passage to play right back. If he didn't accept that, you might not be the Trent you are now. And also, I personally think Arteta probably rates Lewis Skelly as a centre mid, so he might get an opportunity. But if he was judging him as a pure centre mid, you'd be on the bench a lot more. With Saka, clearly he was a winger and he was rated and whatnot. With Ainsley Maitland-Niles, I don't think Arteta rated you in midfield. Like, and that's not a bad thing. I just don't think he saw you as a midfielder. I really don't. Which is cool. You want to play one position, go do your thing. As a Chelsea fan, I hope it ends in a draw. Give Lewis a go left wing. Nah, man. 6'8" left back. That's Lewis Skelly for me. Aubameyang in 2018, 65 million times 1.8 equals 100 million.8. We basically spent 95 to 105 in Jan for Aubameyang adjusted to inflation. Bron Breaker, big up yourself, man. Lango, Wood, and Gibbs cohesion is superb so far. Well, Forest is there, everything. Arsenal don't win tomorrow, it's over. I hear that, but like, if nobody thinks we're winning the league anyways, what is over? Like, what is over? Essentially, who would be your ideal left wing to get this summer? Honestly, I'll be real. I don't have a clue, you know, because a part of me, I think people overrate Rafael, but I do think there's a player there. You know what, Arteta, if you want Nico Williams, go all out for it. I would like Bayern Munich's tail, you know. And I think Ryan Cherky can play all across that front three. Well, the free buff before the forward. I don't think there's a left winger that maybe I'm forgetting something. But yeah, it's been over for time. Yeah, so if it's over, what we got to lose? Can we get as close to 200 likes as possible? We're winning the league, folks. I hope so. Just want us to make some signings so we can have hope in the Champions League. But you're not alone, man. You're not alone. You're not alone. All we can do is hope. All we can do is hope, man. All we can do is hope. And again, if I share my screen and we go over 1-2 things, yeah, Matthias Tell in long term will be a number 9, and you could definitely get game time right now. But you could play off the right, but I think right now off the left we could do something with you in the intermediate future. Again, we're not going to read all of Mikel Arteta's press conference, people, but there's a couple of, I guess, it looks like there's a couple of segments. Semenyo, Kudus is welcome. I like Semenyo, but for me, it's the price, which, again, it's not my money. Football's crazy and whatnot, but you get the point. Arteta on the transfer window said, I'm very confident with the work the club is doing and exploring every single opportunity that we believe can have an impact on the team. That's certainly the case. And if we can agree something, we will. If not, we won't. We are trying everything that we can, but I don't want to give any assurance or not. I don't know. It doesn't depend only on us. So our intention is clear, but the possibilities are affected by 3 parties. Is there anything else in relation to transfers? There must be. On the bid for Ollie Watkins, we knew the manager is going to say, I'm not going to be drawn on particulars and individuals and all of that kind of crap, people. Asked if it was a must win against City. We really want to win every game we have to on paper. It is that, Will. Fair enough. Is there anything else? And if we bring in a striker, it doesn't depend on us. We have the intention, purpose, and ambition to try to help the team and support the squad to be better and to finish the season really strong. And we're actually trying to do that. Boy, on Kai Havertz's importance, we're going to need Kai against City, to be fair. He's been our main striker for a while now, and he's producing some big numbers. and his work rate is unbelievable, which is true. Not only that, but what we demand him to do in our model, his availability has been exceptional. So he's always here, and we are very happy to have him. Fair enough, people. Apparently, Mikel Arteta is optimistic. We will be seeing David Raya tomorrow, people. Martin Odegaard fires warning to Arsenal's title rivals and insists he can still achieve biggest dream despite trailing runaway leaders Liverpool. Again, I'm not gonna lie, the media's probably gonna, I don't know what big numbers is. The media's probably taking what he said out of context, but I will say generally, if you're talking bossy, you need to be performing tomorrow. And I think for Odegaard more than anything, because you're the captain, because people are getting onto you now. You need to do something, man. You really do. You really do. What has Odegaard said? It's been strange for me. It's the first time I've probably had an injury. I was out for a while, and it's something I'm not used to. So it was frustrating for the team. We're in a good position. I don't know where we are in the title race, but still, I feel like we have another gear, another step that we could take, and hopefully we can hit top form now until the end of the season. It was the same last year. We really hit top form towards the end of the season. Hopefully, we can do that again and finish with a good run. I think when you've been so close, you get even more hungry, you get even more determination to do it. But the people that own the club that you work for don't feel like that, man. Especially last year when we were there on the last day and really could feel it was that close. I feel the whole squad is ready now to push, pardon me, for it. There are many games to play for. We remember last season, how we ended that season. There was so much happening towards the end. There's so much to play for still. We just have to stay calm, focus on ourselves, do our job, and then hopefully that's enough. I've been dreaming about this since I was a young kid, to win one of the big trophies. And especially the Premier League was always something special growing up. So it would be the biggest dream. It's what we work for every day. And I think it's important to stay in the moment and not look too far ahead. Just focus on the day by day and keep going. And in the end, hopefully we'll be rewarded. And he's also admitted his goal tally's dried up since the beginning of the season. I will never look at Martin Odegaard to score goals, but the reality is you're a professional footballer. You're a bloody quality one. You're technically proficient. You've been in a number of positions where I actually think you could, last 2 years, you've been okay in that regards where you could score and do a bit better. I think you could. And unfortunately, in the modern day, you need goals from midfield. It's been something that hasn't been good enough this season. I feel like I've been in enough situations and created a lot for others, but I haven't been clinical enough with the finishing. So that's something I really want to step up towards the end of the season. I know you're the captain. You just had a kid and whatnot. Could be worth staying. If you're not staying after training, maybe, hollering Thierry Henry or Ian Wright and just doing some finishing drills. Mainly, I always wonder, psychologically, how much of a factor does that play in finishing? But anyways, I don't know. It's not for me. Martinelli's also spoken. What has Nelly said? I'm a fan myself. I know how they feel like us. They want to be champions. Of course, we players are the first to push ourselves to win every game, to want to be Premier League champions. That's football. Sometimes things don't work out the way you'd like. We wanted to win the last 2 years, but it didn't happen. And this year, with City not doing so well, Liverpool came on stronger. City are going to go again, as they always do. They're going to be another team that will give us a hard time. We have to play our part, try to win games. The Prem is long and every game is difficult. When you think it's going to be easy, it ends up being complicated. I don't know how anyone could ever believe that, but fair play. The Prem is like that. Now we have to believe until the end of the season and that moment trust in our quality. Fair enough. Apparently, Matthias Tell remains open to joining Man United or Arsenal after rejecting the Spurs move. Right, that your owner flew over there and got turfed. Spurs are a shit club, innit? There are also rumors that Aston Villa, Chelsea, and the Middle Eastern clubs are following him. There's also rumors of tentative interest on loan. There's also rumors he's actually going to stay at Bayern Munich, although apparently he hasn't been in the squad today. I can't verify any of this, people. But if you've not been in the squad, unless you're injured, is a move happening? I really want him, man. Apparently, we've had an interest in him since he moved from Rennes in July of 2022 to Bayern Munich. Chelsea have obviously been interested, and the sporting director at Bayern said they'd be open to a move. Again, young Aiden Heaven signed for Man United. There are some rumors the compensation package is said to be around £1 million, people, or 1.5. So yeah, go do your thing. Wish you all the best at Man United, man. Go and do your thing, man. So yeah, big him up on that. At least we won't be getting Rashford. Aston Villa are close to agreeing a move for the want-away Manchester United attacker. Tell has indicated to Spurs that he intends to stay at Bayern and reassess his future in the summer, despite agreements being reached for him to join the North London club, people. So, yeah, Arsenal have discussed him internally. Apparently, Chelsea have a long-standing interest. United have been open to a move for Tell. I reckon he goes United. We'll have to see, man. We really have to see. Al Nassr have gone and signed John Duran, who was linked with us, but then obviously, depending on what happened there, could have changed the stance Villa have on Watkins. I would love us to sign Quenda from Sporting, but it seems like Man United are on the case there, people. Tell has reportedly made a final decision to joining Man United or Arsenal after rejecting Spurs. Apparently, he wants to remain at his current club. So yeah, it seems like he's done a U-turn. But until the market closes, everything's on the table. We covered this yesterday, but Emre said Ollie Watkins is happy to stay at Aston Villa. People, Napan, who was linked with us, the 18-year-old Norwegian man playing for Rosenborg, apparently he's staying until the end of the season. So yeah, man. Tell's considering staying, says Sky Germany. do we really want to get into this Sesko stuff, people? I must admit, my patience is thin, people. It is thin, but for you lot, I did it for you lot. Arsenal have been given a positive message over Benjamin Sesko as manager Mikel Arteta continues to see a solution for the 9 role before the transfer window shuts. Apparently, he's the Gunners' top priority when it comes to filling the centre forward spot, as revealed in December. We all know the issues with Kai Havertz. Let's cut through the tosh, people. We know Arteta said we're trying, but where's the things with Sesko? Apparently, Romano said he's confirmed there's a very big chance of Sesko leaving, but not until the summer. Both Sesko and Simmons a very big chance of moving. There will be big stories of the summer. Sesko will be one of the big targets for Arsenal in the summer. Chelsea appreciate him too. Arsenal tried to understand the situation with Sesko in Jan, but it wasn't possible for Sesko. The January transfer window is over. We didn't learn anything, so I could have missed that out, people. Apparently, he's got a gentleman's agreement to move for 70 million euros, which equates to 59.2 people. So we'll have to see. Arsenal will have to pay extra fee to sign Sesko in the winter market. Bro, we're not signing him. Apparently, we'd have to pay an extra 50 million to get him now. Fair enough. But them lot out the champs. Romano on Tell said there's a possibility for Tell to continue at Bayern, but my information at this time is that Tell is still assessing all of his options, especially for a loan with an option to buy. Instead of going on loan with an obligation to buy, so a permanent transfer to Tottenham, Tell could be open to a loan with an option to buy. Manchester United are very interested in this formula. Let's see if Arsenal decide to enter too. So it's everyone's just doing up guesswork, essentially, man. No one today is really saying nothing. And at this point, as I said earlier, if we're not seeing medicals happening at our club, we're not trying to hear it, are we, Arsenal fans? Really? What's this? Arsenal get new Ollie Watkins hope. Arsenal's hopes of signing Ollie Watkins have had new life breathed into them. I bet this is gonna have something to do with Marcus Rashford looking like he's going to Aston Villa. We've gone over Emre saying he's happy. Oh, so yeah. We know he said he's an Arsenal fan, Ollie Watkins, but this is talking about Arsenal fans online. Bro, Arsenal told to bid 100 M's for Watkins. Who said that? Come off my screen with the foolishness, man. Watkins is cool, but yeah, we're not trying to see that. So let's tab police. You don't have to allow me. We're actually trying. Don't forget, tomorrow, people, we're watching Manchester City versus Arsenal, Arsenal versus City. Arteta got nominated for Premier League Manager of the Month, and actually, David Raya also got nominated for Save of the Month, people. So it is what it is. Arsenal have reportedly been offered the chance to sign Bayer Leverkusen forward Victor Boniface following his failed move to Saudi. They agreed a 60 million euro deal, but for some reason or another, it hasn't gone over. He's got 8 goals in 15 appearances. He is 24 years of age. I don't know why he's been compared to Lewandowski, but fair enough. Doesn't seem like there's anything credible beyond his move, just not working out. We're still linked with Vlahovic, and there's rumors we'll bid before the end of the market. I don't believe that. We've gone over Boniface. We have made around 75 million after securing our place in the last 16 of the champs, so the money's piling in. Santiago Jimenez, who was linked with us, people, the Feyenoord striker, could be going to AC Milan, says Romano. I would love us to sign Ryan Cherky. It seems Borussia Dortmund are the ones progressing with such people. Imagine that, just 22.5 million quid for him. Aston Villa are considering a late bid for Cunha, apparently, and ironically, those two teams are playing as we're speaking. Apparently, Garcia of Espanyol has dropped his strongest hint that he would be keen on the move to Arsenal. I am a very cold person in every sense, and I think that this attitude helps me. I'm very calm at Espanyol with an opportunity that I've been waiting for a long time. It will be for the good of everyone if I leave mine in the club, which is the one that has made me grow. It can't be another way. Okay. Hey, they're getting very good with this clickbaity stuff, these lot, innit? Done me, because we didn't learn anything there. Okay, we know Ollie Watkins is happy. Don't seem like there's any new links. You know, for the sake of it, just link us again with Nico Williams, man. Arsenal could sign excellent player from Borussia Dortmund. Who is this brilliant player? We got Curtis Shaw. Apparently, we like Jamie Gittins. What has he specifically said? Chelsea's first position is left winger, and really Arsenal will be looking at Cunha and Nico Williams in the summer, and maybe even Jamie Gittins as well. On the right side, they have urgency to find cover for the injured Saka, but even when he is fit, they need more firepower on the right-hand side. I mean, we're gonna, for obvious reasons, whether it's because they're young or talented or whatever, like they're gonna get linked with us. So it don't appear that there's anything really new, man. Like, so that's where we're at, man. Like, we're really just living off blind optimism at this point. The madness is we have Kai Havertz as the bar for a forward. He's not even a forward. Arsenal sign someone, please. Emre is trying to strengthen his team by getting Rashford on loan since they lost Duran. Watkins is never coming to Arsenal. 70 mil for Oli Morata is shameful. Bit harsh calling Morata. More goalkeepers and left backs coming in. Our best ever sell is a Wolby since it's pure profit. 61.2 million in today's market. Oxsell is 63 million today. Anything higher than 70 for Watkins is a bit mad. 70 is a bit mad still. The timing of Arteta nomination for manager of the month. We all know with what happens. Watkins way too old to be a prospect now. Should sign him. Can't be worse than Havertz in practice. Did we really bid 60 for Watkins? They're saying 45. Just enough to look like we want him, but less enough not to get him. We aren't signing anyone. Boy, never good. This many names screams a lack of planning. Bid for Watkins was a PR play to appease fans. But yeah, but for most people that think like, how does that? I hear you, lot. You lot are right, but what does it do for you? You bidded it, but what happens if Mum sends you to the shop and you don't get what's required? Then you're not rated. What's the point going over there? What's the point window shopping? Like, who's gonna get appeased? I know what you're saying, but like, I'm speaking for us to actually use our brains. Like we tried. Okay, we're not. Clearly, everyone here is not one of them that's gonna sit there and say that the buzzwords like. There's no players on the market. There was no market opportunity. Who could improve us? Who would you get then? That's all dead. Sesko, daily. Watkins, daily. Vlahovic, daily. Tell, daily. Isak, daily. Gyökeres, daily. This is a scheme to sell papers and farm clicks. Amen. This club will never win the Prem with this ownership, and Mikel in charge can be done with different owners. Odegaard is really good at putting a through ball in for a runner from the number 8 position, but we don't really have a forward that runs in behind. Are they even told to run in behind? I hope we all see clear now that everything that's been coming out of this club regarding transfers are lies and BS. We're being mugged off. The club is being run like a Ryman division. If you could sign 2 forwards this window, who would you get? I'm even heaven and earth to get Tell. I don't know about 2. I'd get Tell and Cherky. I've been consistent all Jan saying that. But I don't really think Cherky's a forward like that. I'm just attacking players. Get a certified attack. Odegaard will make the right pass for the transition. Odegaard is a transition final passer. That's his game. Arteta needs to focus on that and stop coaching things into players that can't produce it on the pitch. Tell Osimhen and Duran available. Got to try everything. All the talk, he'll disappear tomorrow. Oh, we all know one disappears, but yeah. Gaffer's a bit of a liar, isn't he? All managers are liars, to be fair. Tell is as versatile as Jonathan David, but has twice the talent at least. Bring him. What's criminal is recording the low needs to come and fill the void. A striker in this window will sort things out. At this stage in the window, and I doubt an attacker will come from the Premier League, possibly a last-minute signing from Europe. Now, I think it was either in the video I did yesterday or the day before, we were starting to get linked with PSV's Bakayoko again. In fact, I think it was Thursday because the champs was on Wednesday. I'm having Kudus, but what would you have for our 9 that is realistic, not like Isak, because it does not look like we could sign him? It's a tell thing, man. There's nothing else with this window. They've Sesko not trying to do it. Gyökeres not trying to do it. I'm not really convinced on Vlahovic. I like Osimhen, but I'm not beyond, like, if we sign him, he's scoring goals. But like, when we stop that nonsense and look at a balanced opinion, I don't think I'm convinced enough to pull the trigger on you at this moment in time. Clearly, we're bidding for Watkins, knowing we're not going to get him, because I'm having Watkins. Like, he's better than Havertz at this moment in time. But and not that I care about overpaying, but that's a madness. So you might as well just try for telling it. So, bro, like, Wenger, Henry, call him, just put the 50, 60 million euros down. He's going to pay for it in the future. He's 19. He's going to be brilliant, in my opinion. Keep it moving. Let's get Leao or Williams. None of them clubs are getting Champions League football next season. And know what it looks like. We are winning it all. We have to improve our attack. We made no signings. We have to try something different with what we have. Trossard, Martinelli, and Stern not the answer. So what? Can't lie, it's just Ethan and inshallah. If I'm honest with you, like where the attack's concerned at this moment in time, anyone not respectfully, Ethan's the only one in that attack that and he's young, that he gives me anything to get excited about or I quote unquote believe in. Trossard, you're doing okay, but Trossard, Martinelli, Havertz, just do what you can in it. Tommy has to still no recovery news. You know, at this point, yeah, I don't want to be that guy, but it's the 3rd of February. I love Tomiyasu. I'm not going to invite a pylon on the lad, but I'm exaggerating, but I'm starting to believe we're not going to see you this season. And you're 26 years of age, 27 this year. I think, you know, you deserved your new deal when you signed it, but I think the very fact that you never signed longer terms is because of the injuries. I think it's getting to the point now where, of course, we love you, and I'm sure the gaffer does. But if we never see you play, if you're never available, it doesn't really matter how good you are. Like, reality is, when did Tomiyasu sign for this football club? I'm looking at the statistics here, people. He's played. I'm not even trying to diss him yet. Oh, he joined us. In fact, it shows it all here in transfer mark, innit? Like, again, I don't care how much a man gets paid, but if he was to factor in his weekly wages, to how many times he's turned up for work, I know I'm being silly. He's not been here, has he? Really and truly, like, he's lovely. For someone that's been here for 5 years, or just shy, give or take, just shy of 5 years, because he joined in August, and obviously, just shy of 5 years. 4 years, sorry, 4 years. 4 years. I don't know why I thought he was in 26. But in 4 years, it's giving party, really and truly, isn't it? Really, because 84 appearances for the football club. 84 like in 4 years, yeah, 84 appearances for the football club. So that's all the cups. And I'm not saying you can't get injured. 65 Premier League games. Sorry for the language. You've actually only played 4 more times in the Premier League than you did in Serie A. Now I don't know how long you was in Bologna, and you don't know. I'll cut every excuse for Tomiyasu because I love him in the squad. I love Tomiyasu, but you're not about. And I say all of that to say this. I genuinely think I'm not seeing you this season. You know, a part of me thinks I won't see you or Saka. Tomiyasu is a properly solid defender. It's a proper shame his injury record. Disaster, bro. If Ben White comes back from surgery before Tommy, we all know that's the case, bro. At least we hear Ben White's in training. Maybe not training with everyone, but he's about. Tomiyasu, clearly I don't know if there's been a setback in any surgery you've had. I don't know if there's just clearly been a setback. The time you're telling us he's going to come back is what it is. And because of the fact we want a striker and there's plenty of other talking points, I think it's gone over the radar. Like the journalists have forgot about that. But 100%, if you had to bet money, like seriously, you're defo putting, like, everyone had to bet their life savings, you're 100% going to bet on Ben White returning before Tomiyasu. And I'm not trying to be harsh. That's just the unfortunate reality of it. Like, it's very unfortunate. Apparently, Manchester United are holding further talks for Tell people. That was tweeted 24 minutes ago. Oh, hey, let me see. Sorry, people. I'm still here. Get your thoughts in. I'm just browsing social media just to see if there's 1-2 more talking points. Arthur Melo's gone Girona. Santiago Jimenez has been pictured on a private jet actually going to AC Milan if you're still hoping on him. Not really nothing going on, really and truly. Somebody mentioned Fabrizio Romano, so yeah, but this thing with Fabrizio, bro, he's got this gift of just remixing the same things. Like, it's jarring, bro. Like, I big up Romano. I respect the hustle. I respect what you did, but yeah, man, it's long. Apparently, Flamingo are trying one last time to sign Jorginho this window. Flamingo insist on having Jorginho in this transfer window. Apparently, the Flamingo director will talk to Arteta to try to release him immediately. I mean, he ain't got it. Clearly hasn't got my man's number in it. Clearly hasn't got Jason Naito's number. So yeah, man, we'll have to see. Keep your thoughts coming, people. I'm just browsing social media, seeing if there's anything else. For what it's worth, people, apparently Heaven will go straight into the first team squad. Yeah, he signed the contract until 2029 with an option. Damn. Fair enough, lad. Fair enough. So yeah, that's what I was doing. I went on some other websites, other Twitter accounts. Somebody mentioned Romano. What have you said here, Geezer? Lloyd Kelly of Newcastle could be going Juventus. Big up you. Can't knock the hustle. Can't believe Morata's going Turkey. That went on the bingo cards. I'll be fair, I can only see Romano tweeting about Rashford. Like, maybe I went over it already or something, man. Yeah, apparently Tell wasn't even on the bench today for what it's worth, people. Apparently Arteta spoke about Zubimendi. He said, at the end of the day, it's normal to talk about good players in terms of our future planning to make a leap in quality. However, I never talk about players from other teams. You know that. I mean, Arteta's never going to do that, is he? Ever going to do that? Apparently, the current Sky Germany is saying the current tendency for Tell is to stay. Sporting director Christian Froh confirmed after the match against Kiel today. We are not in concrete negotiations with any club. If anything else happens, we'll speak to him. Apparently, Man United, this is obviously not the quotations. Man United are still involved and have already contacted Bayern about a loan deal. When asked if Bayern plans to bring in a new player if Tell leaves, that's not the plan at the moment. So yeah, make of that what you will. Apparently, Karim Adeyemi has refused Napoli's offer and is to stay at Dortmund this window. Apparently, he wants to play in the Premier League and has set his sights on clubs such as Chelsea and Liverpool. I mean, I understand the Liverpool connection, I understand the Chelsea connection. You'd make me very frustrated as an Arsenal fan, but we all know I'm a big fan of his. That's another one because someone asked about players. So yeah, we're not really learning that, man. We're not really learning anything, man. It's the same old, same old. Fabrizio's like a man who drops a song, then puts out the remix, sped up version, slowed version, acoustic version on Spotify, just the same thing with a little extra sauce. So yeah, somebody said check AFC stuff. I like him, Doc, all these Twitter, they make my life a lot easier, really, with some of the condensed news. I mean, we could have that there. Oh, let me see what else they got. It's dry, man. Apparently Isak's idol was Thierry Henry. One for the summer, eh? One for the summer. I mean, this was tweeted 6 hours ago, and it's on brand with what he said, but this is all I saw on AFC stuff. Arsenal explored the move to sign Tell from Bayern. Romano, innit? That ain't nothing new. Obviously, Romano's name puts a bit of clout behind it because it's Romano, but that ain't nothing new. That's what everybody's saying anyways, isn't it? I do think we get Zuba locked in summer. I hear it as well, but at the same time, and at this point, like, and I'm sure they're doing it in the background, but until they're holding shirts, it's a madness. Links and rumors have dried up. DG, amen. Love for the super chat, my boy Comrade. Appreciate that. DG, why aren't we linked with French players anymore? No links or signings since Arteta's been skipper. I wish I had an answer. To be fair, we've been linked with Tell. We've got Saliba, but I don't know, mate. England getting done up by Ireland in the Six Nations. Actually wanted Ireland to get beat. At this rate, I won't make it past this winter. Less of that, man. You're going to make it past many a winters. Less of that, man. So Arsenal is banking the rest of the season on a 17-year-old. That's a sackable offense. If Nelson was still around, Sterling won't even make the bench. Now, I think they'll both be on the bench. They both probably have the same minutes, and they'd probably both be on the bench and just essentially be tourists, man, if I'm honest with you. We should never have sold Smith Rowe if we're going to bring in Sterling of all players. Now, I got a bone to pick with Arteta. Why was Smith Rowe not good enough to play wing for him? Saved his job by playing him there. Does Arteta think we're praised? At the end of the day, to be fair, I think he wanted to keep Smith Rowe, but Smith Rowe had enough in it. That's Arteta's probably didn't give him enough minutes beyond once he got fit for the last 2 years. Let's be honest, Smith Rowe was fit. You weren't played. You wasn't being rated. We were a team fighting for the league. It is what it is. I think Smith Rowe said, "I need to leave, Gaffer. I don't want to. Arsenal's my club, but I'm not playing." I think that's where he said, "All right." I don't think we should have sold Smith Rowe. I think we all know he might never have been a starter, but he should have got more minutes. And hindsight's a wonderful thing, but considering the injuries and where we're at now. Boy, who would even buy Tommy now? I bet he runs down his contract with us. Contracted until 2026. You'd imagine there's an option of another one. Arsenal's only bid for Watkins because they knew it would get rejected. I like Tell with an option to buy could be good. Man said Lucas Perez, PTSD. Can we really trust this manager of money? His talent ID is trash and he wants to dictate everyone who gassed this guy, bro. I hear it, but at the same time, yeah, we're damned if we do, damned if we don't. Because cool, if he shouldn't be trusted, he shouldn't be trusted. But if he's not going to get sacked, he's clearly going to be here. Like, he's going to have to spend the money in it. Like, because then we're just going to get even more angry that we will give ourselves a headache if we say you get no. Like, if we could pick, you get no money to spend. Then we're vexed that we're still talking about injuries and not addressing certain areas. Cherky is off to Dortmund, sadly. I'd get Gyökeres and never sign another striker again. The fact any decent Premier League forward would improve the squad quite a lot. It's peaking it. 19 big chances missed for Watkins during the season alone. Put Morata to shame, really. I'm never going to kill a player for big chances missed. Because how many goals has he scored? And we probably, even if they're on the floor, they probably look attractive to us. And last season, you're on. I don't know why you are on to Ollie Watkins. You're on to him, like, proper on to him. Like, I don't know what he did, like, a nasty individual. I'm sure we'll get a Sterling-like player on deadline and the fan base will hype him up. If we're planning for the summer, then I suggest we sort out the contracts for Gabriel, Saliba, Saka, Ethan, Miles, Ethan, Trossard, Calafiori. Why Calafiori? Why Raya? Declan Rice is just like, I don't think they're in a rush to do anything with Declan Rice. I'm not sure on Odegaard's length of his deal. Raya the same. I think clearly the priorities are Gabriel Magalhaes, Saliba. Yeah, Lewis Skelly and Ethan without a doubt. Got to find Trossard. Look at the squad, but he can't be trusted. Nonsense. Watkins may arrive. Doubt it. We get Sesko in the summer. Villa just subbed off Watkins at halftime. Are they still losing? It's been a weird day in the Premier League, innit? Seen Brighton hit for 7. Brentford are playing Spurs tomorrow. Let me not get excited because we need to do our job. But God, hey, Bees, you need to sting them. V, Sutton, Buemo. In fact, you look and take the night off. I want Nordgaard or some unlikely hero to bag it against Spurs, man. Spurs made a signing. They signed some youth called Batty. Crazy. I don't know about that. Oh, you know what? Premier League tomorrow could get long for everyone, you know. In fact, the next 4... do you know what? From tomorrow to Friday, yeah, there's some good games. Some very good games. You got Brentford Spurs. You got Man United Palace at Old Trafford. I'm probably guessing that. It's not quite got the same effect of Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park. Obviously, Arsenal versus City. Monday, you've got Chelsea, West Ham. Wednesday, we will be doing a watch along as well, by the way. The rescheduled game of Everton, Liverpool. Friday, you've got Brighton, Chelsea. Next Saturday, you know what? It's time for us to clean up, innit? Watch alongs o'clock. We should have done watch alongs today, people. I couldn't do noon. I was busy. I can't lie. Like, I didn't think you lot would want to be here watching Wolves against Villa. For me, it's a good game. I didn't think you'd want to be here. We're there tomorrow. If you want Chelsea versus West Ham, we'll get that done. We'll do Brighton, Chelsea as well on Friday. I've had a good January, people. We need to keep it going. Arteta was in them board meetings fighting for Mourinho. As soon as man heard the gaffer say he reminds me of myself, they should have called off the deal right there and then. Yeah, FM pending, man. Pending. Make sure you got your Twitch alerts on. I'll get something to eat and we'll do that. Can't help but think if we go one more season trophy list, we might see some players wanting to leave. Naturally, bro. Every year, whether we win, lose or not, Saliba gets better. Saka gets better. This one gets better. I think people forget, when we're talking about those players, I'll be real. I don't think enough is made about, because when people say, the players are going to get tired and they're going to want to leave. Gabriel Magalhaes, 27. Like, obviously, Saliba, but like, Gabriel Magalhaes, if you could go to, obviously, I don't know if Real Madrid and Barca and this one want you and that one want you. But even if you could get a move to Italy, what could happen? And I'm not saying Gabriel make the move, but Gabriel Magalhaes is clearly adaptable. Brazilian, lived in France. I'm sure he even spent time at Dynamo Zagreb in some capacity. He was close to going to Everton before us. Boy, make him a decent offer. Like, Gabriel Magalhaes is quite slept on when we're looking at that kind of stuff. Left-sided centre-half as well. Watkins was subbed off now at halftime. Seems like we're signing him on deadline day. You know, there's going to be some Arsenal fans that do that. Arteta never got near the Spanish national team. Mourinho at least has a place on the bench. It's true. Bit harsh. I do think the playing squad in Arteta's day was a lot tougher. I remember they used to say Arteta could play for England. It's absolutely madness, man. You know what? Against City, we're going to have to see. On the transfer note, we'll see by what? It must close, I'd imagine, 11 p.m. Monday, innit? So you can hope, you can pray. Oh, do we do a watch-along for Chelsea West Ham, or do we do a deadline day stream? Or do we do both and break up the clock? I don't know, man. That thing is that. Now that you said it, Gabriel would be perfect in a team like, yeah, but obviously it looks you can win a league title. Like, He's 27. Now I know he's probably happy at Arsenal and all of that kind of stuff. And I'm not saying people are gonna force it, but yeah, they still have Pedri get rid. Fair enough. Yeah, but I hear it, but like, remember, prime Iniesta, prime Xavi, prime this one, prime that one. Jabi Alonso's there. Even someone like Santi's about. Like, I think it's a bit stronger now. I think it's harsh to even. How did we even get it? Players ain't leaving for now. What other clubs is a clear step up from Arsenal that can guarantee trophies? 1, maybe 2 at most. Fair enough. Who's NFC? Is that? I assume that's Nottingham Forest, NC. I'm not sure on the acronym. I should know that. I assume Newcastle, Nottingham Forest, Chelsea, City, and even Bournemouth all in contention for top 4. These oldies need to wake up. Arteta did arguably have a harder midfield. But there was ballers. Busquets. God forgive me for forgetting Busquets. Absolute madness, man. We're just gonna have to see, man. We're just gonna have to see. Hopefully these players don't leave. Hopefully one day we win a trophy. I don't think we're gonna be lifting anything in May, but I hope I'm wrong in terms of what's left of the January transfer market. I hope I'm wrong in terms of the winning stuff. I hope I'm wrong. I ain't even said nothing about the summer coming, but if I've got any negative thoughts, I hope I'm wrong, man. So yeah, man said I managed Spain on FM in 2005 and gave Arteta a few trophies. You're moving mad, legend, man. You'd have to be one of the best midfielders in the world to get in that Spain squad. Let's do deadline drown in our tears. It's the hope that kills, man. So until it's mathematically impossible that we can win a league or any trophies or sign any players, we have to keep fighting. If you haven't smashed the like button, please make sure you do, people. We've got 190 likes, so we've done quite well. But time always flies when we're here. We've been here for 2 hours. I'll be real. I'm going to quickly go and get something to eat, turn on the football. But yeah, your super chats, my mods, my members, everything you lot are doing, man. There's no point being here week in, week out, day in, day out if you lot didn't support. Again, tomorrow, I think we kick off at 4:30. So I'm live from 3:30 UK time. So yeah, join me, man. And make sure you get your predictions in. Make sure you're subscribing if you're new here. Again, hopefully we sign a player, man. But on that note, you lot stay safe, stay blessed. Peace.
Against this right back, Charlie.